Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the show. It's Untethered Live, Politi-tics night. I'm your host, Jake Johnson, and tonight, we're talking about everything, dramatic and otherwise. Come on in. Make yourself at home. Kick the dirt off your shoes and brush off the rain. It's rainy here. It's going to be a lovely day. I got rain on my shoulder, looks like. Taking my dog for a walk. Big John, you get the gold star for being first in chat. How are you tonight, sir? Nice to see you. Big John says, breaking news. Pakistan launches a war against Afghanistan. Really? It's the first I'm hearing of this. That's terrifying. Well, remember what I said. There will never be peace. They will cry peace, peace, peace. But there will never be peace. That's biblical. Unfortunately. I hate it, but that's the way of the world. And also, prayers for Diane Keaton, who died today. She was a film actress. I've seen many of her movies. Prayers for her family. Absolutely. Amy's here. She says, Deuteronomy 31, 6. Be strong and courageous. Do not fear or be in dread of them. For it is the Lord your God who goes with you, and he will not leave you nor forsake you. That's a very good quote from the Bible. This is true. If you are in God's army, you will reach all kinds of points in life where you are handed ultimatums and problems and drama that faces you, and you feel like you've been beaten, but you won't be, because the Lord has your back. If you're doing God's work, the Lord has your back. It's that simple. The world will make you feel otherwise, but trust in that. And hello, nice to see you. Amy says, hi, Jake and Amanda and John. I just stopped in to say hi. I'm not staying. People are mad at me for something stupid I did. I hurt my friends. I didn't mean to, and they need to enjoy the show without me involved. What is this all about? You didn't hurt me. What's going on? This is another one of those things where I'm getting in trouble for something I'm not involved in. Could be. That's all right. I'll take it. Tell me what the problem is, and I'll help you solve it. Victor says, hey, Victor. Nice to see you, my friend. Victor says, good evening, everyone. Jake and Amanda, how are you? Fantastic. How are you, buddy? Came early to say thank you. You're welcome. For what? I know Mabel had come to ask you for some advice, and we rewatched your replies together. I really appreciate it. Oh, well, that's my pleasure, my friend. That's why I'm here. That's what my job is, and I'm glad to be of service, and I hope that it helps. And Victor says, and thanks to everyone else who chimed in as well. Appreciate that. Amy says, I am never going to gossip ever again. Lesson learned. Love y'all. Did you gossip? Did something happen? This is the first time hearing about it, so I'm in the dark. This is not a thing that I'm involved in, whatever it may be. But if you need me, I will stand as advocate for you. You've more than proven yourself to me, so what's the problem? And Victor says, Amy, if they are so hurt, they aren't very good friends. You just sit there and stay where you belong, here. Mabel will be here soon, and I'm sure she will like to say hi to you, too. Thank you, Victor. And Victor says, I don't know what happened, but I'm sure Jake and Amanda would prefer if you stayed as well. Always. Absolutely. I would prefer if everyone stayed and we could work it out as a family. Keep family drama in-house. Judy is here. Hey, Judy. Nice to see you. She says, hey, everyone. Number 2. All right. What's number 2? And Amy, stay here. Stay here. Yes. Kingdom Kid says, Jake, God bless you, brother. Chat, stay blessed and love you all. Are you leaving? Am I losing the whole show tonight? What's going on? I'll be in the corner if anyone needs me tonight. Okay. Well, come on in. Come up front and center. And Judy says, thanks, kid. Aaron says, what if the show is not the same without you involved? You got more friends here. Well, that's true. Hey, Aaron, what's up, my brother? How are them cows? Amanda says, Nugget, here's your gold star, and you deserve it, my friend. Amanda says, hi, Nugget. You say that.
Hi, hi, Nugget, Amy, Vic, Judy, Kid, and Aaron. Hi, y'all.
Sorry, Amanda's here.
He doesn't remember I'm with him on Saturday night.
Preoccupied anyway, so sorry. Judy says, hey, Amanda.
Hi, Judy.
Might as well keep going.
What? I said everybody above that.
The next thing.
Oh, hi, Untethered Live family. Good to see y'all. Happy for rainy Saturday.
Rainy.
When
it rains, it pours.
Hi, Jake. How are you tonight?
Rainy. Aaron says, hey, back, Amanda. And Jake, stop staring. You're going to get the ladies excited, right? Right? Well, sounds like there's a lot of excitement in the air already.
Must be a full moon.
It must be. I'd like to know what's happening before I commit to any kinds of ideas. Big John says, Amy, don't be a silly sausage. We all love you. Heart, 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 heart. Amen, brother. And Mabel says, ciao, everybody. Hello, Mabel. Nice to see you. Smiley face back at you. And Jake, if I may make a suggestion, I know that you are set up on Facebook, and I understand that many of your viewers are as well and may not want to switch platforms, but ... We'll come back to that. Judy says, hey, Mabel. And Amanda.
Hi, Mabel.
Judy says, this is a great chat. Thank you, Judy. And Facebook chat sucks. Well, yes, but it is available for everyone and it's easy to get to. Continuing, Mabel says, many younger people such as Vic and myself do not use Facebook anymore. It's not safe. It's not secure. And you will always have Facebook moderators peeking into your group to make sure you behave. True. There is an app called Discord that all YouTube and Twitch streamers use. It is super easy to set up on your own channel and can even categorize spots for memes, politics, Bible study, etc. I'll look into it. And Judy says, right, Mabel. And Mabel says, you can invite people the same way with a simple link. I do not know all of your reasons for why you use Facebook, and I do not judge, but Vic and I would love to see your channel grow. And ... Well, my reasons for not growing has nothing to do with Facebook. And we think Discord will benefit you greatly in the future. I will look into it. I've looked into Discord before. It did not appear to be something that was familiar to everyone, so I didn't continue along that line. I will look into it. Big John says, I am sick of drama. I'm off. Bye. Well, what happened now, John? What drama? What are we talking about?
What is really going on?
What is really going on? Is tonight the night my channel blows up? I've been waiting. I've been waiting to see it happen. The devil is strong. I worked for 13 years to make this thing work. I don't need to lose it all because of something I didn't do. At least be angry at me for something I did.
Or at least tell us what's going on.
Aaron says, the heck? I know, right? I don't know what's going on. I just walked into it tonight. And Victor says, what even is happening? What is even happening? I don't know. I'm as in the dark as you are. And Mabel says, sorry for the long messages. I brought this up to Vic earlier and was excited to share. Just a friendly recommendation. Well, you're always welcome to share with me anything that you have the thoughts to share, especially if it's to make the show better. No harm, no foul. I will look into it. It sounds like good advice. And Lord knows I need all the help I can get. Aaron says, right. And Judy says, bye, Nugget. Why is Nugget leaving? I didn't see any drama. Did I miss something? Aaron says, Nooks. Nooks?
I think he's calling Nugget back.
Oh.
Nugget, what's up, man?
Aaron says, W. Sorry, dog walked on my phone. Ah, that makes sense. And Victor says, how are you doing tonight, Aaron? Good to see you, sir. Amanda says,
WTF is really going on?
I have no idea. Again, whatever is going on, I didn't do it. I just got here.
Gotta be a full moon. I'm looking.
Aaron says, and if I did do it, somebody accused me of something already. I'm in the dark. Aaron says, I'm good, Vic. It seems to be a little trouble in the family. I wish everyone would stay for a good show. Me too. I had a good show planned. But obviously I can't move forward unless we solve whatever issue is going on, so let's get into it.
Everyone needs to stay and sit the hell down and talk it out, whatever it is.
Yes, this is a family, and we've been touting that for the past couple of years now. If it is a family, then we need to keep it in-house and solve it as a family together without pushing each other away from here. Aaron says, facts. And Judy says, me too, Aaron. Aaron says, I waited all day to come see my family, and I wish for a good old troll debate that ends with hugs and handshakes. This is the night for drama, but drama needs to end with hugs and handshakes. That's the whole point. Victor says, don't make Mabel raise her voice in Italian. She may be 5 foot. Fuck all, but that'll sit you down and shut you up real quick. Lamau, she must have that mother gene. My mama could do that too, and she wasn't but about that tall. But I've seen her look down at a 6'2" football coach with both of them standing flat-footed. Look, she looking down at him. I don't even know how that was possible, but she did it. Jacked him up. Kevin Bernard, old St. Bernard's here. He says, hello, Jake, Amanda, and everyone. Hello, my brother Kevin. How are you doing, my friend? Nice to see you.
Hi, Kevin.
And Mabel says, that's Italian for, hey, listen. Amber's here. She says, good evening, friends. Heart, hello, Amber. Nice to see you. Judy says, hey, Kevin.
Hi, Amber.
Kevin says, hello, Amber. Kingdom Kid says, I'm still in the corner. Don't forget. Haven't forgot. And you stay right there. Oh, good old Ferd Turgeson's here. Hello, Ferd. Ferd Turgeson at your service. Nice to see you, my friend. Greetings and salutations. Kevin says, oh, my chat jumped. Hang on.
8:32.
Kevin says, hello, Kingdom Kid. And hello, Judy.
Hello, Ferd.
And Kevin says, hello, Victor and Mabel. And Amber says, how's everyone doing? Fantastic, as far as I can tell. Victor says, how you doing, Kevin? And Judy says, hey, Amber. Kevin says, hello, Ferd. Amber says, I'm going to make a cup of coffee. That sounds like a good idea. I got a nice hot cup right here, and thank you to the people that provide the coffee for the show. It is a lovely cup of joe. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
If you'd like to have a cup with me, go to the kitchen, pour yourself up a nice hot cup, and let's get to talking about whatever the drama is. If you don't have a cup, you can get one in the description below. I recommend the first one. It does have my face on it. It is fantastic. We also have stainless steel tumblers, the big ones and the little ones. They both have locking lids. They keep your coffee hot for hours. They have the Untethered Live Bible Study logo on the front and all the platforms on the back. They look great on your coffee table, and they keep your coffee hot for hours. I think I said that already. But also, you can get a lawnmower chain or a grease gun or a toenail clipper. I'm not sure about those last three, but check it out anyway. There's stuff down there. Go check it out. Also, you can go to facebook.com/UntetheredLiveChillin', which is a great place to hang out. It's free. You don't have to involve Facebook. You can just stay amongst yourselves and share and text and get to know one another without all of the rigmarole. And it's yours, and it's free, and it's there, so go check it out. The link is in the chat, by the way. Also, like, subscribe, share, support, join, and super chats are available. It's very important. Link is in the chat over there if you want to super chat. But if you want to You can do that by going to paypal.me/JakeJohnsonBand or CashApp $JakeJohnsonBand. Every little bit helps. It keeps us afloat around here, so I greatly appreciate you doing that. And now, on with the show. Kevin says, Victor, I'm good. I hope all is well with you and the family. And Victor says, very well. Thank you, sir. You guys are so polite, and it just makes me feel wonderful. Amber says, whoa, I'll be back. What does that mean? I'm all paranoid now. I feel like I'm losing everything. And Judy says, you're a good man, Jake. Thank you, Judy. I appreciate that. You are too. A good lady. It didn't come out right. You know what I meant. Now, Victor says, it helped a lot, the advice. I had a talk with Hannah today, and then we had a talk as a family. And if she wants to call me Dad, I am honored. Scared as F, but very grateful. That's what you should be. And use that to your advantage. That fear is a good way of telling you to be alive and to be alert. And that's where you need to be when you have kids, is alive and alert and without sleep and a little scared. That's what a parent should be. That keeps you, apprised of what's going on. That's wonderful. You're in the right place. And Judy says, that would be awesome, Victor. And Mabel says, we are very grateful for all of you. Thank you. Our pleasure. Moshe Adeli says, hello from Israel. Hello from Israel. Nice to see you. Come on in. Tell us a little bit about what's going on in your neck of the woods. The good stuff. Kevin says, Victor, you are not a replacement of her father, just a substitute in his absence. I hope that makes sense. And Amanda says,
hi, Moshe. Welcome.
Kevin says, hello, Moshe. And Moshe says, love you. I love you back. Nice to see you. And Victor says, yes, Kevin, I understand. Thank you, sir. And there's a lot of gears in this clock, and I can't really put it into words how I feel about it, but I appreciate your advice. It takes time. That's a thing that it shows growth, that you're thinking about it and that you're aware that it's a big thing. That shows incredible adulthood. It shows that you're mature enough to handle it. So that's wonderful. Bill Bennett, my brother, what's happening? Bill Bennett says, hello, Untethered Live family. Happy Saturday night. Saturday night live used to be cool, though. LOL. It did. And then it got woke, and then it wasn't cool anymore. It's only cool when you're on the upswing. Once you become the guy, you're not cool anymore.
Hi, Bill.
Kevin says, hello, Bill. Debbie's here. Hey, Debbie. Nice to see you, sweet lady. She says, howdy, everyone. Nice to see you.
Hi, Debbie.
Judy says, hey, Moshe, I pray you're safe. And Kevin says, hello, Debbie, with a bunch of O's. Sorry, my chat jumped.
8:46.
And Judy says, hey, Bill, and hey, Debbie. And Aaron says, Debbie, how you feeling? And Judy says, hot cider. Hot cider? Well, that's just as good as coffee. Kevin says, hello, Aaron. And Amanda says,
where are we at?
8:48.
Okay. Debbie, look at Jake. His face is so soft and smooth and smelled sexy today. So soft.
Like mossy oak. Thank you. And Debbie says, I'm doing great. Aaron, how are you? And here's the link to the page if anybody wants to check it out. And Judy says, wow, clean shaven. Yeah, I gotta get the hobo off of me every now and then. And Debbie says, gee, Amanda, way to rub it in. Ha ha ha. You can rub it in if you want to. A little over here, a little over here, a little right there. However you like it. Aaron says, great. It's going to be a good show and everyone will behave. I hope so. Apparently there's something going on, but I haven't got to it yet. I have no idea what it is. It sounds big, though. Kevin says, Amanda, that's good. Get Debbie all worked up and point her in my direction. Right on. That is the idea. And Judy says, thanks, Jake. My pleasure. Thank you. Walter Davis says, good evening, all. Hey, Walter. Nice to see you, my brother. Kevin says, hello, Walter.
Yes, Judy. He came out of the bathroom this morning and walked by me. I saw and smelled him, drug him back, hugged him, and smelled him for a few. LOL. He said I was crazy.
No, that's the reaction I want to have when I walk in the room. It's a good reaction.
Lucky we didn't have more time. You'd have been in some serious trouble.
Good gracious. And Judy says, LOL, Debbie. And Amanda
Hi,
says,
Walter.
And Judy says, hey, Walter.
LOL, Debbie. I can box some smell up and send it to you, Debbie.
Yeah, I could do that. Kevin says, Amanda, no. Send it to me, says Kevin. You want some too? I'll send it to you. Just, I think it's called mossy oak. That's what I wear. Or curve, one or the other.
But you'll see. Just keep reading.
And Debbie says, thanks, Amanda. You can just take a sniff for me. She will. And Amanda says,
LOL, so she jumps all over you, Kevin? LOL, okay, Debbie.
Kevin says, Amanda, that's my hope. Aaron says, I heard Linda makes soap. Not a bad idea. I see where your head's at. I like where you're thinking. Call it Jake.
That's a little weird. What'd you wash with, Jake?
Jake. Or call it Jackie. And Walter says, hi, Jake, Amanda, Kevin, Debbie, Judy, Aaron, Victor, and Moshi, and Mabel, and Judy. You said Judy. And Bill, and everybody else. Amanda says,
LOL, deal, Kevin.
And okay, Debbie.
Yeah, okay, Debbie.
Walter says, Moshi, what's your thoughts on the peace deal? Aaron says, Amy is going to make me go over there and cow lick her face.
Jake does that to me sometimes.
Sometimes you just got to. It's necessary. It's a part of life. Sometimes a bite, sometimes a cow lick. Sometimes a finger in the ear. You just got to. Or up the nose. Or in other places. Amanda says,
hi, Angela.
Nope.
Hi, Aaron. Oh, Aaron.
Oh, Aaron.
Oh, Aaron.
Angela says, hello all. Sorry I'm late. I was watching the protests. Well, hello, Angela. Were they protestical?
Protestical. Hi, Angela.
Did you get where you were trying to go with that? Was there a conclusion to the protest? Did they successfully protest? Did they protest it too much? Aaron says, twice if you like it. Amen. And Walter says, hi, Angela. And Judy says, hey, Angela. Angela says, hello. My chat jumped. I got to get back to where it was.
8:54.
Got it. Hello, Amanda and Walter. And Mabel says, families have troubles. As we say in Italian, lascia stare. Lascia stare. Or lascia stare, however you say that. It means to leave it be. Not to worry. All will be okay. Well, We have a saying in America, and it's what goes around comes around. About the same thing. Angela says, hello, Judy, and smiley face. And Walter says, hey, Mabel. Angela says, LOL, even funnier. Kevin says, hello, Angela. And Aaron says, call it Tiny Mule. The soap, yeah. I like it. Tiny Mule.
You showered with the Tiny Mule juice.
And Walter says, hi, King. And hi, Ferd. Sorry, my chat's jumping all over the place. Hey. I got it. Angela says, if you lick it, it's yours. I agree with that sentiment.
What if you suck it? Then what?
It's yours.
Oh, okay.
Kevin says, Angela, not if I'm very hungry. then you might swallow it. And if you swallow it, it's definitely yours. Angela says, Chicago has fizzled out. Portland is just starting to get wild. Portland has always been wild. And that's a strange place. It's like another world over there, another universe. I don't get it. The real Colonel says, how much would a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood? As many chucks as a woodchuck chucks as a woodchuck could chuck wood. That's how many. I wrote an entire poem about that one day.
I forgot to go back and find it.
I found it.
Oh, did you?
I'm just not in the mood to read it. It's kind of painful. Kevin says, hello, the real. Angela says, LOL, Kevin. And Walter Davis says, hey, hi, the real. And Aaron says, in that case, I've got to go lick a bank tomorrow and tell them you said it's mine. Well, it might be yours until the cops get there. Amanda says,
hi, the real, welcome.
And Judy says, hey, the real. And Mabel says, I thought what goes around comes around was in English to say the things you have done wrong will come back to get you. That's exactly what it means. That was a sentiment that we call being facetious. I'm sure you know what that means. Aaron says, you could mold it into the shape of a mule. Well, that would be...
Then that would be adult soap only.
That would be a very large piece of soap.
That too.
And Walter says, Linda and her sister make awesome soap and herbal tinctures. I've heard. I think I have some of them around here.
Yeah, we have some of the tinctures and lotions.
Aaron says, I know. And Victor says, I bet you do, you dirty dog. Aaron says, I'm going to get her to make some for me. I bet she'll do it too. And Victor says, smiley, smiley. Angela says, oh my gosh, they are nuts. And they belong to an insane asylum. Portland, yes. Yesterday, they wanted to give the detainees communion. And they were begging to go in and do that. Communion as in the Catholic thing? Or something else? Walter says, Aaron, it's the best soap you'll ever have, especially if it's Tiny Mule. Aaron says, I know, Walter. And Amy says, the Portland protests have furries and Antifa and Furtifa. Listen, that's where children go to cosplay. And unfortunately, we have a lot of children in this country. And that's what happens when a bunch of people come back from the war and have a bunch of babies and then die, because that's what happened. And then all their babies have babies and then they die. or just quit, and then all the babies are here, and there's just babies everywhere. And then at some point, they start complaining because babies become teenagers. And that's where we are as a country, ran by teenagers that are complaining about everything and wearing costumes. At some point, the adults will need to stand up and say, all right, enough of this. Go to your room, get that off your face, and we'll be all right if that happens. And Mabel says, yes, this is not the same as luscious, however you say that. I understand. I was being facetious. It's the opposite of that, actually. We don't ignore things. We do things, and then it comes back to bite us in the ass. It's a little bit different in the way people think. Like, for example, I'm all the time. All the time. It might be a me thing, I don't know. But you can ask people that know me personally. I get in trouble for things that I'm not part of constantly. I mean,
Yes.
it finds itself in my lap. And I don't know how that happens. But I take it as a sign that I'm supposed to be making some kind of effort to change it. But what do? All the time. I've been in trouble for things you would not believe that I had nothing to do with. Things that I actually do, I get away with because I'm smart enough not to get caught. So maybe that's just the universe saying, you thought you got away with it, huh? Have some of this. Whatever. But you're right. It's not the same. Angela says, as in bread and wine, that was Chicago yesterday. That's what I thought. Why would they want them to have communion? It didn't make any sense to me at all. Are they Catholic? Aaron says, old trades like soap making are awesome to know. Yes. Those are sadly going away. And if we don't have more people stand up and learn these things, they are going to go away. And that's just going to be lost to time like so many other things. Like Greek fire. What? Did he just come up with some, yes. What's that guy's name again? I've lost his name. The guy that invented the corkscrew and the Greek fire and the arm to pick up ships and drop them back in the ocean. Can't think of his name.
I can't either.
I would have sounded smart if I'd have nailed it, but I lost it.
Well, you shouldn't have lost it.
Well, that's what happens to the brain. You get it so full, it just starts tripping shit out the ear. Amber says, Amy, they have helicopters in a constant circle around the city area, Portland. It's creepy.
Samuel Henshaw?
No, further back. Think Greek. An inventor, a Greek inventor, great Greek inventor. Angela says, call them trans teenfa. Exactly. I'm with you there. And Walter says, hi, Amber. Amanda says, National Guard is coming or already at Portland. Yeah, they're coming. They're going to shut it down. Angela says, have you seen him, Amy? Tommy Boy. I don't know who that is. And Amber says, same, Jake, same. Smiley faces and prayers, 100%. Oh, yeah, getting in trouble for things you didn't do. Oh, yeah. And Judy says, cool, Amanda. Amy says, I forgot the name of the channel I was watching, Angela. Aaron says, Jake being a public figure is a heavy thing sometimes. I know, right? What can you do?
Archimedes.
Archimedes. Thank you. Archimedes was the guy I was thinking of. Yep. That guy. He created Greek fire and we forgot how to do it. It's fire you can't put out. And it burns underwater. And it's green. But we don't know what. We got ideas, but we ain't figured it out yet. That guy had some good ideas. Amber says, that part, Jake. Pinky promise. I understand that part about you. I'm a pretty simple guy. All in all, I'm not hard to understand. Angela says, nope, they just want to go in and see if the facilities is good enough for them. Well, they're prisoners, so yeah. It's good enough for them. My guess would be. Now, Walter says, I've never been charged for anything I've done, but I've been in jail for other people's stupidity. I hear you, buddy. Me too. Angela says, Tommy Boy is the one in Portland that has knocked 2 Antifa people out. I heard about that guy and defended himself, of course. Yes. Yeah, I've heard of it. They call him Two-Piece Tommy. I've heard about him. I think more people need to do that. If more people just knock these little teenagers out, it'll kill 2 birds with 1 stone. Teach them a valuable lesson about life and also shut them down and stop them from causing any more havoc. But that valuable lesson, I really think, should be across the board for everybody. I think everybody at the age of 18 should be punched right in the nose as hard as they can by a big dude. Because everything goes out the window when you get punched in the nose. You think you got a plan. You have no idea until you face that, what that's going to be like. And that'll teach you about the rest of life. I'm not advocating violence, just to be clear. But I am advocating a strong punch to the sternum or to the nose. Take the wind out of you. Take your eyesight away from you. Make you really figure out where you stand. Angela says, Amy, that was to you, hun. Right. Amber says, here they are already in Portland. Must be, National Guard is in Portland already. Good. Maybe they'll do some good there. Victor says the first patent on corkscrew was Reverend Herschel in 1795. Yeah, I meant the corkscrew to pull water from down below up to above, and that was invented by Archimedes in ancient Greek. Now, he may have had the first patent on it, but he's not the inventor of the idea. And I don't know if he invented it. He didn't invent it. He just got a patent on it. That's the same thing with the guy that invented the radio, and I'm quoting here. I don't remember his name because it's not important. I do remember the guy who actually invented radio, though. His name was Nikola Tesla, and he didn't put a patent on it because it was in service to another invention of his. He invented the thing to make another thing work. And this other guy took that idea and patented it and got all the credit for it in the books. It wasn't until about 10 years after Tesla died that they actually gave him credit for creating the radio. Or the process by which to broadcast radio waves. Sadly, he died penniless and alone in his apartment with a dead bird. And pretty much invented the modern world as we know it. And every electrical device that you have has some of his work in it. Penniless and alone. So just because you're a genius does not mean you will ever get credit for it. Now, Walter Davis says, we got thermite. Better in every way. I disagree. Thermite don't burn underwater. Angela says, Nick Shirley has to escape Chicago today. I heard ICE helped him, but didn't get that confirmed. I don't know who Nick Shirley is. And Kevin says, Victor, and they invented the cork 30 years later, LOL. Right. The corkscrew, the cart before the horse, right? And what I meant to draw water. I just used the word corkscrew. It wasn't a corkscrew, but it was the screw apparatus.
They called him whatever his name is, Screw.
The Archimedes screw,
yeah.
Right. Amy says a corkscrew goes further back than that, Vic. Ever seen what a rooster reproduces with? Corkscrew-shaped member. Oh, yeah. Ducks, too, have a corkscrew-shaped member. I don't know. I didn't know that roosters did, but ducks definitely do. So God actually invented the corkscrew. Walter Davis says, I got friends who have been in ICE jail. They said it was very good, and the guys running it helped them fix the problems. I would imagine it would be cold in there. And Victor says, yes, Amy, I'm just saying that is the first recorded patent. Right. There was a guy in the 80s, 1984, I think it was, that looked and realized that nobody had patented the tire. It's an old technology. It's been around since the wheel. And so he went down and applied for a patent and got it because nobody opposed him. And so now everybody that makes any kind of wheel has to pay him for it. He instantly became one of the richest people in the world. Pretty smart. After I read that, I spent a decade looking for something that nobody else knew about. Never found it.
You probably weren't the only one that did that.
I'm sure. Just one of those things that just slipped by everybody because everybody just assumed, well, yeah, somebody's got a patent on the tire, obviously. No, they didn't. Rooster penises, corkscrews, says Amy. Yes. Cockscrew. Maybe that's where the term comes from. Angela says, had to escape from Antifa. You did? Or he did? Who's he? What are we talking about? I'm confused.
The guy she was talking about on the podcast earlier.
Yeah, I know. I was just teasing. Judy says, LOL, Amy.
Now you can read that as a 3-part section.
Okay. The Archimedes screw, also known as the Archimedean screw, hydrodynamic screw, water screw, or Egyptian screw, is one of the earliest documented hydraulic machines, and it was named after... Hang on.
912.
If I can keep my chat still. It was named after Greek mathematician Archimedes, who first described it around 234 BC. Although the device had been developed in Egypt earlier in the centuries, it is a reversible hydraulic machine that can be operated both as a pump or as a power generator. Yes, that thing. And Mabel says, in Europe, these things were not so common, and in Canada, it is, but not as much as it seems to be in the USA with furries, these pronouns and such. Right. It came from academia and spread from there. So everywhere there's a college culture, that's where it's at. Angela says, LOL, Amy. Aaron says, and Elon liked the name and bought it for Tesla cars. Fun fact. Oh, yeah. Well, he named it as out of respect because, like I said, Nikola Tesla invented everything that we use today in the world of electronics, pretty much, and got no credit for it while he was alive. So that was Elon paying respect to him by naming his car Tesla. Fab Daddy says, sending troops to protect anything in the States is a bad precedent. Be prepared for retribution. I am prepared, buddy. Bring it on. When the states get out of control like Portland is and Chicago is, that's what the troops are for. And by the way, that's what the National Guard is for. National Guard. Guard for the nation. Those aren't the troops. Those are the National Guard, the weekend warriors. The troops are in other countries. Don't be hyperbolic. Hi, Fab Daddy. By the way, remember those peace talks you were saying that would never happen? Happened today. Let's see if it sticks. Amy says, Tannerite is fun. Right on. Kevin says, hello, Fab Daddy. And happy Saturday, folks. Happy Saturday, Fab Daddy.
Hi, Fab.
It's a beautiful day to be alive. Beautiful day indeed. And Kevin says, Tannerite is a blast. Do we know what Tannerite is? Share with the crowd. Because I don't.
You don't know what Tannerite is?
I might.
Yes, you do.
I might. What is Tannerite?
It's an explosive.
Oh, I know what you're talking. Never mind. Forget I said that. Amber says, Fab, good evening. And Judy says, right away. Right, Amy. It turns things into a lot of little pieces. Angela says, Nikki Shirley is a YouTube journalist that goes all over the world and shows us the truth. He just came back from the UK, seeing the conflict going on there. Well, there seems to be conflict in every westernized world to the same tune. Ever make you wonder about that? When it first started happening, my question was, how did they over there know what was going on over here and are reacting the same way? If we're having protests here about a subject, why are they doing the same thing in France about the same subject? Does that make any sense to anybody? We're different countries. We live under different types of rule. Sounds like it's programmed. It sounds like a thing that was intended to happen across the board. Like the globalists are real. To that, I say listen to Alex Jones. I know he's wacky. I know he's out there, but he's right more than he's wrong. If you get a jar and put $1 in it every time he turns out to be right, you will have made money at the end of the year. He's wrong a lot, too, but he's right a lot. It's scary. Judy says, hey, Fab. Amber says, hello again to everyone. I'm settled with coffee now. Excellent. Me too. Amy says, hello to everyone in chat, by the way. Hi back at you. Hello to everyone here. Angela says, Nick Shirley got invited to sit at Trump's Antifa roundtable. Good. Kevin says, hello, Amy. And Amanda says, hi, Amy. And Amber says, hello, 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 Amy Jinx. Coffee, smiley, coffee. And Walter says, Fab, every time things went wrong, sending in federal troop to the states is what it was under Democrats. Kent State was from the Democrat governor. The World War I vets in D.C. was under Roosevelt. Again, I stress there is a difference between National Guard and the troops. That's not the Army. That's the National Guard. It's a different group. Angela says, hey, Amber. And Victor says, I am not an Elon fan. I do love SpaceX. I think what they do is fascinating, but I do agree with Elon that, hang on, my chat jumped.
9:15.
I do agree with Elon that patents are really just a restriction on involving and expanding technology. I'm not an Elon fan. I don't know enough about him to not be his fan, but yeah, I hear what you're saying. Aaron says, oh yeah, the politicking has begun. The politi-ticking has begun. Definitely. Walter says, Bush sent troops to help with 9/11 and hurricanes, did Reagan and Trump. As did Reagan and Trump. They were the National Guard, not the troops. Amy says, screw like an Egyptian. I like it. Aaron says, I do AI for a living, Vic, and I'm not a fan of him either, but I've never seen him directly. I've never seen him directly. Right. I've never seen him directly either.
LOL, Amy.
I think he's a little bit overrated, in my opinion. I've heard him talk at length. He might be a smart guy, but it ain't in English, because when I've heard him talk, I could sit there and talk with him about anything he's talking about. He does seem to have his finger on the pulse of things to where he can get things done. But what he's getting done aren't necessarily genius ideas. They've been around a while. He just figured out a way to make it happen. And that might be where his genius lies. I don't know. I have heard that he works all the time. That's the trait of a genius. But I've yet to hear him say anything smart. So I don't know if that's like an image that people have created for him, or if he actually is a genius. I don't know. I know I've never heard him say anything highly intelligent. That's a mark of a genius, by the way. Listen to what they say. Angela says, hello, Amy. Amy says, Tesla wanted to give everyone free electricity. Yes, he did, which is why they shut him down in New York City at the Wardenclyffe Tower, where he had already built the apparatus to do so and just needed permission and funding to get it done. He had already built it. It was already there and available. And he said, all I got to do is get funded so that we can have it done. And they said, okay, well, where we're going to put the meter? He said, meter? No, it's free. Oh, no. I didn't sink my millions of dollars into this project for you to give away what the end result. And he pulled the funding, and that was he was on the Titanic. J.G. Morgan, one of those bank names. I can't remember his name. It'll come to me in a little while. It's like two initials and a name, like A.P. Morgan or something like that. I think that's the guy's name. I can't think of the name though. But anyway, that's the guy that was funding Tesla in the beginning, and he built Wardenclyffe Tower, which now is an empty parking lot unless they built something there.
Yes, J.P. Morgan.
J.P. Morgan, that's the guy. And oddly enough, he died on the Titanic. Interesting that, isn't it? A lot of rich guys was on the Titanic when it went down. Or the Olympia. Did I just give away a conspiracy?
Uh-oh. Don't start that. We'll be here all night on that one.
There's a lot to talk about. An iceberg, you say? You mean the thing the guy in the tower's looking for? If you hit an iceberg, doesn't it go in instead of out? And why would you hit an iceberg in the middle of the ship? Wouldn't you hit it at the bow of the ship? Never mind. It was the Olympia. The Titanic never set sail. Never mind. Walter Davis says Elon wants to colonize Mars. He said it. Every endeavor has a part in the effort. Battery cars, solar panels, robots, all needed. There's another thing you're going to need before you can colonize Mars, and that is a moon. Oh, look, see there, I just said something highly intelligent. Mars has no atmosphere. It doesn't matter how many times you send people to Mars, they're going to die. Because it's not possible to terraform Mars. It has no atmosphere. It has no magnetic field. How do you get a magnetic field? Well, if you'll notice, there are two asteroids serving as a moon for Mars. Phobos and Deimos. Fear and demons, just so you know. Or fear and terror, however you want to translate it. They're what used to be a moon that blew up for some reason. But just beyond Mars, between Mars and Jupiter, is a band of asteroids called the asteroid belt, which once was a planet, which I strongly suggest is the thing that caused a big crack on Mars, as well as the breaking up of its moon. That planet blew up and thereby creating an asteroid field. if you take some of those Android drones and send them to the asteroid field and have them hooked to an asteroid and drag it back to Mars and park it next to Phobos and then pull Phobos and Deimos together and do that enough times, you can create enough mass to eventually form a moon, which will then become spherical of its own accord, because that's what heavy rocks do when they're that big. They turn into spheres and they will congeal together and form a moon. Then you can terraform Mars, because then it will kickstart the iron core, which will then produce a magnetic field, which will protect the atmosphere. Because if you terraform Mars today, if you spend 100 years building an atmosphere for Mars, it will just blow right off of Mars because of the solar wind that is bombarding Mars at all times. What protects a planet from that is the magnetic field, which is why we're protected. So if you'd like to colonize Mars, that's the first problem you need to solve: a moon. There, I said it, Elon. I'm available for consultation. Aaron says, put on a lot of gold, okay? I'm ready, Egypt. And Victor says, yes, actually, Elon tells a story about how he hired a guy to sit on the man's door who owned the rights to the name Tesla, and to keep bargaining until he accepted and sold it. I have never heard that story, but it sounds like the kind of thing you do when you want something bad enough to do whatever it takes to get it. Angela says, it's the closest they have been so far to peace. Are you talking about the Middle East or Portland? I'm confused. I'm trying to follow the story, but it jumps all over the place, so I'm not exactly sure which place you're talking about. Peace. If you're talking about the Middle East, yes, it's very close to. They're very close to signing a peace treaty. That's due to Trump's involvement, by the way. Aaron says, LOL, they got to make it to the moon first, Vic. LOL. There's that, too. Judy says, LOL, Victor, I can believe that. Amy says, people don't understand that Israel is the last non-Muslim nation in the Middle East. That's why it is so important. It's mentioned in the Bible, and that's why it's important to the Christians. It is that. But it's not the country that is important to Christians. That's where the confusion is. When I say I support Israel, people think Netanyahu and the current government of Israel, and that's not what I'm saying. Israel is a product of a man. He had 12 children. Those 12 tribes formed the first place called Israel. One of them's name was Israel. And he's the patriarch of that family, Jacob, which is why they call it Israel. And so I'm talking about the people of those 12 tribes when I say the word Israel. Most people, when they say the word Israel, they're talking about the country that exists modern time today. Not the same thing, people or place. But you're right. It is one of the last non-Muslim nations in the Middle East and is very important to the return of Christ. But something tells me it doesn't matter what it is. When Christ gets ready to return, what it is in Israel ain't going to stop him. Amber says, for so long, our National Guard program has always been thought of as a maybe one-day military. Seems the public has forgotten the Guard isn't a paycheck while pretend waiting. No, it's not. It's an actual thing, and they do have jobs to do in our country. Because the military can't function inside the walls of the country, but the National Guard can. And Angela says, it's another reset, I think. Mud floods, orphan trains, Cabbage Patch Kids. I hear you. Amy says, New Jerusalem, Jesus will return and take his place on the mercy seat. I agree. Amber says, sorry, my chat jumped. Hang on. Hate it when that happens.
9:23.
9:23. Nope.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go. Hold on. Yep. 9:22.
Mine says 23.
Amber says, just my thoughts about lots going on right now. Americans have forgotten we've gotten way too comfortable with disrespect. Yeah, I agree with that. I think that's a big problem. I think that people have forgotten how to coexist with one another, how to respect your elders and how to respect authority and how to know your place. Everybody's got this idea that they can do whatever they want to do, and that's largely because we've taken God out of the equation, and God is the central theme of respecting a hierarchy. And when you don't have that, people go crazy. They knew what they were doing. Go back to the academia of the 1800s and see how they planned this from the get-go. Start at Cambridge. Work your way out. Amanda says,
I had a big collection of Cabbage Patch Kids.
I like the Garbage Pail Kids myself. Aaron says, my sister had these dolls. The black one scared me. Interesting. What kind of dolls? Walter says, the governor of Ohio sent in the National Guard. Roosevelt called in the Insurrection Act and called in federal troops. Well, that may be so. I wasn't alive when Roosevelt was here. In modern history, it's been a thing that the military can't operate with inside the United States. And I don't know about before I was alive, but in my lifetime, the only people that's operated within the United States, except for the whole Waco thing, and that was the DEA, who shouldn't have been a military force in the first place, have been the National Guard. Angela says, we once had free electricity, something to do with copper domes and mercury. Not exactly. We had the possibility of free electricity, and it got kiboshed by people who wanted to put a meter on it and charge by the hour. Electricity has always been free. It's in the air. It's always been here. If you go back to the Garden of Eden, and shortly after Adam come up out of the dust and became alive, at that moment, electricity was here. And if they had the technology, they could flip a switch and turn a light on in the Garden of Eden. They didn't know about it, though. It took them this long to figure it out. Imagine what else is out there that we don't know about, that has been here the whole time. The more erudite versions of us in ancient England and that sort of thing like to use the term discovered a lot. It started in England, but we've continued it here in America. And everywhere you look, we discovered this, we discovered that. No, we didn't. It's always been here. We just stumbled upon it and then named it. But we didn't discover it. It's been here. God put it all here for us to use, like coal. Let me ask you a simple question, and this goes into my conspiracy theory about everything. Can you think of a single thing that coal does in the world other than heat your home or create power for you to use? Can you think of a reason it's there? Why it might be in the ground? Because everything in the world is symbiotic to something else in the world. Nothing is here by itself. Nothing is random. Everything has a reason to be here. Why is coal here? Can you think of a reason? I'd like to hear it. Bill Bennett says Elon Musk is truly trying to make humanity better, I feel. It's possible. I don't know what his goals are. It's also possible he's trying to get filthy, stinking rich. But I don't know. I would imagine, though, if I could get something like that done, I would be doing it too. Victor says, Aaron, let's start a fight about the American moon landing, and we can really stir up the pot. Lamau. Well, what about the American moon landing would you like to talk about? Because I happen to know a great deal about that subject. Both sides.
Oh, Lord, we're going to get that conversation started at almost 10 o'clock.
I didn't bring it up.
We'll be here all night.
Nah. You know I'm going to cut it off at midnight if I have to. Walter says, hey, Bill, I agree. And Amber says, Angela, heart. Aaron says, Angela, if you like the dome, it's yours.
That's a mistype. It's supposed to be lick.
If you lick the dome, it's yours.
There's a correction further down in the
Got it.
conversation, but
LOL, the pot of cheese. Vic, ha 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 ha. Nice. Amber says the earth is flat. No, Amanda says that. You say that.
hold on. Never mind. Aaron got him. Earth is flat as far as you can see.
As far as you can tell, yes. And Victor says, yes, sir, cheese and wine. I like cheese and wine. I had a piece of cheese today. Is there more cheese, by the way?
No.
I need cheese.
Well, there's regular cheese, but not sharp.
Like, subscribe, share, support, join, and feed Jake. I need some cheese. Cheese. Victor says, Angela says, they all just want to make humanity better. It doesn't mean they actually know how to do so, or their ideas will work long term. This is true. Just because a person says a thing doesn't make it true. That's absolutely true. Very wise observation there, Angela. And we have a lot of that. And just because people say things don't make it so. And we got a lot of people saying things in the world today. That's the trouble. We get tripped up in it. Just because they said it don't make it true. Like AI is self-aware. No, it's not. You can say that all day long, but it's not. AI is conscious. No, it's not. And Judy says, my kids had them too, Aaron. What are we talking about?
The black dolls.
Oh, the black dolls?
Or the Cabbage Patch Kids. One of the two.
Oh, that's what that... I didn't know what you were talking about when you said dolls. I got it now. I like the Garbage Pail Kids. They're like the Cabbage Patch Kids, but gross. Amber says, Amanda, smiley, smiley. And Amanda says, LOL, Vic.
I say give them a glass of Get Over It and a big straw so they can suck it the hell up.
That's right. Amy says, Elon is helping amputees and deaf people with his advances in implanted chips, connecting the brain with the affected area, skipping the paralysis and movement through prosthetics. Now that is a thing I can get behind. That I think is a great field of study, and if it would suit me just fine if he took all of his intellect and focused it in that area, because that is a thing AI can do to help humanity. Running everything ain't the way to go. Have you not seen Colossus? Have you not seen Terminator? Let's stop doing that and focus AI where it belongs to help humanity. And I think that's a great endeavor that he's doing with the chip in the brain to help paralysis. He's having a lot of good progress with that, but he needs more. So I think all the AI stuff needs to go in that direction. And also, why is it that we're still having trouble with prosthetics when they can 3D print almost anything and make it look real? Why are we still doing this? A prosthesis is very expensive. It shouldn't be. It shouldn't be. You should be able to make a prosthetic leg that moves with your muscles in your thigh for almost nothing, because we've got the technology to do it. We're just not doing it. You go visit the place where they make prosthetics. It looks like you're visiting the 80s or further back. They have not advanced, and they want it that way. Or go to a wheelchair manufacturer, a place that sells wheelchairs. It's like they're in the 70s. It really is. It's ridiculous. Aaron says, it's supposed to say, if you lick the dome, it's yours, as a joke. I got it. Bill says, hi, kids. Hi, Bill. Angela says, I personally think we were reset to charge for electricity and water. I don't know what you mean by reset, but ever since they've been able to pull it out of the ground, they've been able to charge for it. This is true. Amanda says, hi, Bill, too. Is that a different Bill?
Yes.
Hi, Bill, too. Aaron says, Bill, tricks are for kids. Amber says, valid point, Angela. That's a different Bill, by the way. There's Bill Bennett, and then there's Bill. Amber says, valid point, Angela. Amy says, cochlear implants let people hear again, too. Very good technology there. And I'm all for it. Mostly so we can get those people off the TV doing this. It's ridiculous. They know it and I know it, so there it is. Most of them don't have a clue what they're saying. Walter Davis says, Linda is at the class reunion. It's 10 miles from the farm where I am. I couldn't go because my mother, who has Alzheimer's, has a toothache, and I was at the doctor with her. She's staying someplace. I hear you, buddy. Amy says, I spelled that wrong. I got it. I caught you. I know what a cochlear implant is. Angela says, that is a strange joke, Aaron. Which one?
Talking about licking the dome.
Well, you're the one that said, if you lick it, it's yours, didn't you?
No, Aaron did.
Is Aaron the one that said that?
Yes.
Walter says, but won't come here. I don't blame her. And you shouldn't either.
Bummer, Walter. That sucks. I'm sure she's having a good time.
Aaron says, maybe you're right, Angela. It sounded better in my head. I have that problem a lot, Aaron. Sounds great in my head, and then it comes out of my mouth, and I'm like, nobody got it. Well, all right then. Victor says, are you the judge of the jokes, Angela? Not to your satisfaction, And Walter says, doesn't matter. Elon wants to set up humanity there on Mars. Yeah, he might want to, but he's not going to be able to. See, here's the thing about Mars. There's nothing there. And by nothing, I mean nothing. There's no stores. There's no hardware stores. There's no places to sleep. There's no grass. There's no bugs. There's no nothing. Nothing. Everybody you send there will die if they stay there. Immediately. The dirt is shaped like little tiny razor blades, and when you kick it up, you will inevitably get it in your clothing, and you will inevitably get it in your lungs, and it will rip you to shreds. That is if the radiation from the solar winds that pass through Mars on a regular basis don't cause cancer first, and you die horribly of cancer. Mars is not a viable place to live. It might have possibilities, but you'd be better off trying to live on the moon. At least you could find your way home if you needed to. If you could get into outer space, you could drift home and have somebody catch you as you fall through the sky if you had to. I don't know that you could do that either, but nobody's ever going to go to Mars. That's a pipe dream. And if they do, it'll only be that one guy or a couple of people. Nobody's ever going to live there. It's nice to think about. So is Star Trek. But that's not ever going to be reality. Everything in space is trying to kill you. Aaron says, I'm sure Linda is having a blast. I'm glad she went. Orenkin CT, hello again. Says, hi all. I'm new here. Who's this guy? Well, you should know you've been here before. I recognize your name. I've said Orenkin CT before.
Yeah, he's been kicked out before.
Aha, that's what it is. Angela says, LOL, Aaron. Amy says, Angela is a great person. She has overcome a traumatic head injury, and she's overcome a brain aneurysm. That's fantastic. Good going, Angela. And we all know she's a great person, for sure. Walter says, Amanda, I'm sure she is. I'm blaming me. And blaming me. I don't think she is. I haven't heard her blame you. Not for anything, actually. What I said is you can't blame her. Not the other way around. She's just trying to survive. You know that. Amanda says.
Hi, Oren. Welcome.
And Judy says, hey, Oren, welcome. And Angela says, hi, Oren. May I call you Oren?
I don't know about all that, Walter.
And Oren says, okay. Amber says, Oren. Oren CT says, huh? She asked, may she call you Oren? Ghost Hunter. That's a good one. I like that one, too. Is that what Oren is? A ghost hunter? Amy says, an Auric vacuum? I'm confused. What's going on? Amanda says,
are you on all chat, Amber? They couldn't see Oren.
Electrica Services. Voice like actors. Well, there's another person with a vacuum cleaner name. It must be a theme tonight. Amy says, oh, switch to all comments. Got it. And Judy says, I don't have an all chat, Amanda. But at the top of your chat, it'll say live chat or all chat or something like it. Top chat, maybe.
All chat on a phone, live chat on a computer.
Amy says, hi, Oren, welcome. Or it could be an iPhone, which would be different, I would imagine. They're different every other way, so it might be.
Yeah, but the YouTube chat would still be the same.
I don't know.
You want to be on the word that gives you all of the chat, whether it's live, full, all, whatever.
Amanda says,
what did I say?
it helps when you can see all the comments.
It helps when you can see all the comments.
And Judy says, I have top chat and live chat. Well, make sure you're on live chat. That's the one that gives you all of it. That's the one that keeps you up to date. All chat will just keep you the most popular chats, but live chat will keep all of them up to date and keep it going. Oren says, so no one can tell me who this man is. My name is Jake, by the way. I'm Untethered Live. It's in the description. And I'm me. And tonight I'm doing Politi-tics, which is anything with a political lean to it. Aaron says, push live. Amanda says,
Judy live.
And Walter says, I've been with my mother from 6 o'clock until she goes to bed every night for years. There are 8 bedrooms. She and the kids all have a room. She's too busy. She's a good person, but not here for me. I don't want to get involved with that. That's not my business. You two are both my friends, and I'm not going to get in the middle of that fight. I see both sides. Both have a side. I'll be your friend and I'll be her friend.
And not getting in the middle of it.
And Amanda says, Oren.
Oren, his name is Jake.
That's who this man is. Amber says, Oren, ... Amy says, under the dots in the corner, it's a menu. The choices are top chat or all messages. And Judy says, Jake Johnson, Oren. Now you know. And knowing is half the battle. And Aaron says, Walter, there's not the place for that. And Amanda says, he is a very intelligent, kind, loving person, and he loves his people. Amen. Oren says, yawn later.
Deuces.
Bye. You're not hurting my feelings. And Judy says, thanks, Aaron. And then my chat jumped. Hang on. Oh. I found it. Aaron says, I know, Vic, I'm giving you a hard time. Nope. That's not the one.
No, you're at 933.
33?
Yeah.
It's a long way up. Ah, there we go. Well, yep, I got it. Amy says, welcome electric services. And Amanda says,
Walter, not the place for that. Oh, no, that was there. What?
you said that's between y'all.
Oh, yeah, well, that's between y'all, Walter.
Right. And Judy says, thanks, Amanda. And Angela says, Amy, God did that. He has other things for me to do, I guess. Victor says, honestly, I believe the Middle East will not have peace. It won't. It is full of tribes who all hate each other and are in constant conflict, and we have wasted many lives to bring peace that they don't even want. Well, that's true. If you go back to the book of Nehemiah in the Bible, you'll see where this conflict started. It's recorded there in the book of Nehemiah. That's where it began, and it has been that way since, which is about 2,500 years, 3,000 years, somewhere in that area. And they are not about to change that. That's a deep hatred amongst them all, and we don't understand that argument. That argument has been going on much, much deeper than anything we know, and us getting involved is a little bit arrogant and probably shouldn't be done. And you're right. There will never be peace in that region. And the Bible says that too in Revelations. They'll cry peace, 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 but there will be no peace ever. Not until the return of the Son of Man. And they don't want peace. They want to fight. They want to die. And we shouldn't die for them. You can't put a square peg in a round hole, and people need to understand that. It's not offensive. That's the nature of humanity. There are different kinds of people in the world, and we are a different kind of people than they are. It's not racism either. You know, they're different. They have different mindsets. They have different programming. They will never fit into a Western idea of society, no matter how hard you try. Leave them alone. Let them do their thing. Come over here and you got plenty to worry about at the house. That's my opinion. Amanda says,
You're welcome, Judy.
Amy says, Angela, you've overcome a lot. And Kevin says, Victor, I'm with you on that one. And Victor says, why did the Taliban take back over? ? It wasn't a failure of America or NATO allies. It was a failure of the Afghani people refusing to take accountability and fight for themselves. Well, they took back over because our government pulled out. Joe Biden just left everything there and gave them a bunch of weapons that they didn't have before. And no idea how to handle what's coming next. They just left. Just pulled out. They ingratiated themselves to start with, stayed there for over 20 years, and then just left. And it was chaos. And anytime you leave a vacuum, power abhors a vacuum, and it swoops in and takes over. And that was the power that was there to swoop in and take over. And the other people were powerless to stop it. My opinion. I wasn't there, but that's the way I see it. Aaron says, the biggest CH. I don't know. My CH is pretty big, but I don't know if it's the biggest. Amber says, LOL. Guess not. Walter says, God is the central everything. Agreed. Without him, you got nothing. I agree. Guess what's not on Mars? A church. I say if you put one of those there, you got a chance. But I don't think I don't think it's gonna happen. Aaron says, sorry, dog, again. Your dog can spell the biggest? That's amazing. And Judy says, right, Walter? And Victor says, the Americans spent billions training the Afghani army before they pulled out, and they never took it seriously. It wasn't a joke to them. You cannot help people who will not help themselves. I agree with that. That's the reason we also can't solve homelessness, because it ain't a money problem. It's a crazy problem, and we're not solving that problem. Angela says, thank you, Amy. I think the world of you, and I'm glad we met each other. You brought me here. Amen. Thank you, Angela and Amy. Amy says, he is the life, the truth, and the way. No one comes to the Father except through the Son. Something like that. That's correct. And Amber says, Victor, America. And Walter says, FDR wasn't supposed to be able to call in the federal troops or set up unconstitutional government agencies, but he did. Well, since Woodrow Wilson, they've been doing a lot of things they shouldn't be doing. I don't know if it's become apparent to you guys or not yet, but we have a constitution and we have a government body who is doing everything in their power to do away with the Constitution, little piece by little piece by little piece. They're called Democrats, but the Republicans are no better. They're allowing it in their own special way. We need to lock down on that and elect people into those positions who don't want to do that. That's the very thing that kept us where we are. And they're going to overturn it, and we're going to lose everything. And Angela says, facts, it's been here. Make diamonds. Amen. No. Coal does make diamonds with a tremendous amount of pressure. But again, diamonds have no purpose on earth but to wear as jewelry. Diamonds don't do anything. We can use it to cut stuff. We can use it to adorn our fingers. But they don't do anything. Charcoal grilling, another thing that involves us. It's not a thing they can do by themselves. I ask, what does coal do for the world outside of benefit us? Aaron says, filter water coal. Also, something to do with us. Are you getting the picture? God put things here for us to use. We just had to find it and use it. But he knew about it from the get-go. That's why he put it there. Coal is a byproduct of oil, not the way that science tells you. That's wrong. You go look. Everywhere they find coal, beneath it they find methane. And beneath that they find oil. It's obvious what it is. And Walter says coal, it used to make asphalt and pave roads. Again, that's a thing for us, not a thing for the world.
Well, we all listed stuff for us, so.
Yeah, that's my point. Amber says bright like a diamond. Bright like a diamond.
I said to make electric.
Again, for us.
I know.
You will look, but you will not find a reason for coal to exist that doesn't benefit us. There are lots of things in the world like that. Electricity is one of them. Electricity doesn't benefit the world in any way other than to be harnessed by us. And you might say, well, what about nope? Well, what about nope? Nope. Believe me, I've been down this road. Amy says, bad kids get in their stockings at Christmas. Yeah. Angela says, yes, Aaron, filter water too. For us. Not for other things can drink water unfiltered. Now, Kevin says, Germany used coal to make synthetic oil during WW2. For us. That's right. The reason they can make synthetic oil is because it used to be oil. It's a byproduct of oil. And Bill says, coal for our benefit. And Nelian, already richest man. And Elon is already the richest man. Right on. Yeah, but he wasn't born that way. He got that way. By the things that he does. Aaron says Amy is savage and stockings. Sispakari, Ordinarily, I would read your chats anyway to see what you're saying, but I don't have time to even deal with you tonight.
Don't waste your time.
Amy says, you first, Sisbari. Suspakari. Walter says, let's bring up flat earth versus round earth while we are at it. Sure? You first. Aaron says, if it's flat, I want to walk to the edge and see space. Well, look up. You're already there. As far as you are concerned, this earth is flat. You will never see its curve, even in an airplane. I don't care what they said. Trust me, I can show you people that said that that's not possible. Neil deGrasse Tyson said it wasn't possible from the space station. And that's true. It just happens to be. If you look at the size of the earth and understand where the space station is, so if my arm was the earth, the surface of the earth, the edge of the hair on my arm is about where the space station is in relationship to the ground. So picture being at the end of one of my hairs, looking down at my arm, and tell me what you think you would see. Considering that the human eye can only see about 3.5 miles, depending on how tall you are, in any direction on a clear day. So tell me what you think you would see. A flat horizon all the way around. And that's exactly what you see. I've seen balloons that have went up 120,000 feet. I've seen images from things that were not fisheye camera lenses. Trust me, you can't see the curvature of the earth. It is round, but you can't witness it. Even if you were standing on the moon, you can only see, look at a ball. Look at a ball. Get a basketball and look at it. Shine a light on it so you can get an idea where the light touches it and where it doesn't. You can only see about 30% of a ball if you're looking directly at it. And from your perspective from the moon, you can only see about 30% of the surface of the earth. It'll look like a disc to your eyes. It is round, but it's not the surface that's round. It's the gas that surrounds it that's round. The surface looks like gravel. It has flat spots. Don't believe me? Go to Kansas. Aaron says, I read that one. Amy says, if the earth was flat, cats would have already knocked everything off the edge by now. True. Amanda says,
I already did, Walter.
And ER says, haha, welcome ER, how are you? Amy says, LOL, Amy, right? And Judy says, LOL, Amy. Victor says, okay, so I think the moon landing is plausible. It is plausible. It's also implausible. There are realities in both camps. But I also think the Americans would have benefited greatly from faking it. And it is very strange that this was done in 1969 and in 56 years, and no one has ever done it again. Exactly. Also, name one technology that humankind has ever created that is not now cheaper, faster, and easier to do. One technology. The only one that is still impossible is the moon landing. I'm not saying they faked it, but I'm saying if I were a general of an army and NASA is a military organization, or it was at the time, it was a service of the Air Force, and it was operated by a general. And if I were a general and I viewed the moon as a strategic location for war, which is why they had to get there first to beat Russia for strategic purposes, the last thing I would do is show my first visit to it on national television for everybody to see. That sounds stupid to me. Then you take into account that they showed it on a wall at NASA, and then all the TV stations had to film the wall, which was already a second generation image, which is why it looked so grainy on TV. So they carefully cultivated what got seen. Yeah, there's a lot of fuckery involved with the moon landing. I don't doubt we went. But I just don't think they saw it on TV in 1969.
Or called the president to tell him about it.
So there's that. Walter says Cabbage Patch Kids were a prelude for Chucky movies.
Cabbage Patch Kids were out before Chucky.
Yeah, that's what prelude means.
No.
Yes. Aaron says, this ice cream is great. You have ice cream? I'm jealous. And Victor says, I have always believed the moon landings, but I think it is mostly because I want to believe it. Exactly. A lot of people's identities are attached to that moon landing. It's the greatest thing we've ever done. To believe it's fake is almost like saying we're fake. So it's very painful to get over that hurdle. After you do that, you begin to see a lot of the cracks in the narrative. They did not know in 1969 that everybody and their brother would have Photoshop and capabilities to tear apart pictures like we can now and footage like we can now. They did not know that in 69. Well, unfortunately, when you look, it don't hold up. When I look at the actual facts, like why would they not keep the blueprints? Then I get skeptical. Why did they lose a metric ton of telemetry tapes that just vanished? The most important thing mankind's ever done, all of the telemetry that they collected in that journey is gone. We do not have it. That's weird. How did they call the President of the United States from the surface of the moon in real time on a landline when they were using switchboard operators at that time? And if you don't know how that works, I'll explain it, but it's a little bit complicated. The only thing even remotely close to cell signal that they had in 1969 was ham radio, which is line of sight only. There was also the ArcNet, which is also line of sight, but on the ground using radio waves. They did not carry anything with them to the moon to broadcast said signal. They didn't carry an amplifier. They didn't carry a dish. They didn't carry any kind of broadcast gear. They could not have made that phone call. Yet, when it aired, it was in real time. They spoke. The president answered. If you go back and look at that footage now, there's an 8-second delay because in the 70s, we discovered that there was an 8-second delay with radio signals to the moon. We did not know that in 69.
Right.
Which is why it has now been changed.
And how did they get all the pictures with no problems? And there's just too many questions.
Or every photograph taken from a Hasselblad camera with no extra protection that went through space on film that went through the Van Allen radiation belts. And every picture is magazine quality. Every single one. Not one thumb was taken. Not one out of focus picture was taken. Not one shadowed picture was taken. Every one of them, magazine quality. Every one. On film. Take a roll of film through a metal detector at an airport and tell me what you get when you develop it. I think that the Van Allen radiation belt is way stronger than the metal detector. Yeah, there's some problems. Does that mean it didn't happen? No. But there's some problems and people aren't fessing up, and that always causes more skepticism.
And then they bring him back and put him in a quarantine in an Airstream travel trailer with an air conditioner on top.
Yeah, about that.
How are you in quarantine when you're sucking air from outside and blowing the air back outside?
Yep, they didn't think about that either. A lot of things they didn't think about in 1969. But they like telling you they were in quarantine because they didn't know if they brought back pathogens from the moon that they didn't go to. Judy says, I love ice cream. And Aaron says, what kind? And Mabel says, mint chocolate. Nice. Judy says, chocolate peanut butter swirl. I just like vanilla ice cream.
Cabbage Patch Kids came out before Chucky.
That's what prelude means.
Okay.
Aaron says that one is okay. I don't agree with that, by the way. I don't think they had anything to do with the other, but unless just creepy looking kids in doll form. But prelude does mean before, or preamble too.
I think it had more to do with my buddy, whatever he was.
My buddy, yeah. Teddy Ruxpin.
Yeah. But
Aaron says that one is okay, and Kevin says chocolate fudge. Aaron says that peanut butter swirl I could get into. Right on. And Judy says it's awesome. Amy says we need space exploration when there's fudge from Uranus. There is fudge from Uranus. I got a t-shirt. Uranus, Arkansas, wherever it is. They make fudge there. Yes, they know about the irony.
it's in Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania. Somewhere. Amy says, Uranus Fudge Factory. That's the one.
LOL, Amy.
And Mabel says, Hannah says mint Oreo, which is Vic's favorite too. I like Oreo and vanilla. I like vanilla and caramel. Salted caramel. And also vanilla with fudge swirls. But I just like vanilla. I'm a regular vanilla ice cream guy. I don't like all of the other flavors.
Vanilla bean.
Right on. Angela says, LOL about the cats, Amy. Aaron says, Saturn's married. They put a ring on it. Right on. Victor says, yes, ma'am, at Mabel. Heart. Patty's here. She says, hello, peace. Hey, Patty.
Hi, Patty.
Amanda says, I read that one. Or you read that one. Judy says, hey, Patty. Kevin says, hello, Patty. Patty says, Miss Amanda. Aaron says, Patty the legend. Amy says, waving hand at Patty. Patty says, hi, Mr. Kevin. And Walter Davis says, good night, all. God bless. Walter, see you later, my brother. Have a good time. Nice to see you. And Victor says, sorry, I'm just causing trouble tonight. Ha, don't mind me. You're not causing trouble. That's what tonight is about. It's about argument. It's about disagreement or contentious talk. And then we leave as friends and don't carry it into the rest of the week. That's the point of tonight. That's the reason it's called Politi-tics and not Untethered Live.
Night, Walter.
Patty says, hi, Aaron and Miss Amy. And Kevin says, good night, Walter. Judy says, good night, Patty. I think she meant to say Walter. Because Patty just got here. Amanda says,
LOL, Vic. We're all having a good time.
and thank you for that. It was looking scary there for a minute. I thought I done stepped into something. Which I still don't know what happened, but I know that I didn't have anything to do with it, and whatever this is should not be involved with any of that. That's what I think, but I'm not sure what happened, so we'll see. And I was right. Judy says, oops. Good night, Walter. Be sure to hit that like button, everybody. Thumbs up. We need it. 13 likes so far. Like, subscribe, share, support, join, and if you can, I appreciate that very much. Aaron says, LOL, Vic up there trolling. And Judy says, who's Patty? Patty's a dear friend of ours. She goes by the name Wesley. If you look and see Wesley, that's Patty. Aaron says, Patty is a legend.
Judy, Wesley is Patty.
Correct. Amy says, Patty is using Wesley's phone. Correct. And Victor says, all in love, but I do get on some trolling right on sometimes. Just kind of like poking the bear, haha. Don't mean any harm by it. Well, that's welcome here. That's fine. I enjoy a good rabbit hole myself. And Judy says, okay, thanks, Amy. And thanks, Amanda. Aaron says, I know, Vic. I'm giving you a hard time, brother. Amy says, group hug. Good idea. Aaron says, covered eyes, hearts, and hugs.
You're welcome, Judy.
Amy says, Aaron, I said group hug, not grope hug. Well, come on now. It ain't no fun if you can't get a little handsy. Amy says, watch where you put those hands there, buddy. I'm watching. Aaron says, then stop growling me.
Groping me.
Groping me. Then stop groping me. Ah, I got it. It's all in the context. Judy says, LOL, Amy. Got it now. Thanks, guys. And Victor says, wait. But Mabel told me groping was specifically a part of hugging.
It is.
It should be, yeah. A hug ain't a hug unless you get a little touchy.
Every day.
And Judy says, LOL. And Mabel says, you behave, Mr. Man. Kevin says, Victor, LOL. Amy says, prayers for Walter's mom. Absolutely. Twice a week. Every week. Aaron says, well, technically right. At Vic. And Mabel says, I am still watching, even though I am not. Then my chat jumped. Hang on.
9:53.
I really hate it when that happens. This is me scrolling up to find where I left off. Hi, Soph. A little late tonight, ain't you?
Thank God. I mean, Mabel said, I am still watching even though I'm not in the same room at Vic.
Got it. Okay. Soph says, hey, guys, pray for Walter. Twice a week, every week. And Victor says, smiley, smiley. And Amanda says, hi, Soph. And Rick Wallace says, hi. Hi, Rick Wallace. It's a hell of a name you got there. One of those is not capitalized, though. Why? Aaron says, Soph, why you praying for Walter? What happened? She just likes to be prayerful. Amy says, hi, Rick Wallace, welcome. And Judy says, pray for Victor. He has to close his eyes sometime. Right.
Hi, Rick. Welcome.
Amy says, LOL, Judy. And Victor says, oh, hey, Soph is back. I thought maybe she had succumbed to the hay fever. Yeah. And Judy says, hey, Rick. And Rick says, thank you. Yeah, welcome in, Rick. Tell us a little bit about yourself. I'm Jake. Everybody, Rick, everybody. Aaron says, smiley, Vic. Vic says, Judy, I'll keep my eyes wide open. Thank you. I keep my eyes wide open all the time. I keep my ends out for the ties that bind. I don't even know what that means, but it sounds dirty. Amy says, Walter was talking about his mother suffering from Alzheimer's, Aaron. And Judy says, hey, Soph.
I asked the same question Aaron did, so I retracted it.
Got it. Judy says, LOL, Vic. Nick Smith says, do you agree? Do I agree with what? Hello, Nick. I don't agree with anything. I don't know what the question is. Aaron says, something. W-I-K. And Nick Smith says, K. All right. Well, that was a pleasant conversation. Amy says, I was praying for Walter's mother. He needs prayers too. I watched my dad decline with that disease. It is a terrible disease, and it's hard to deal with, and he's doing a fantastic job by taking care of her.
Hi, Nick. Welcome.
Angela says, oh, Israel and Palestine. That's what you're talking about. I don't know. Rick says, night, y'all. Well, thanks for dropping by. Jews versus Americans. We're not in war with each other. Nick. Amber says, yes, Amy. Prayers, hearts, and prayers. And Soph says, how are you guys feeling tonight? We're all down with the hay fever. Soph, how you doing?
We're feeling with our hands. And sometimes our feet and our butt and whatever else.
Amy says, thanks for stopping by, I guess, Wallace. That's kind of weird, in and out. Aaron says, Soph, you have any politics? I got one growing on my butt. Amy says,
that is not what I thought you were fixing to say.
Amy says, hello, welcome, Nick Smith. Patty says, I have tried 2 times to make a point concerning the group Netanyahu is over and YouTube blocked it. I'm so sorry to hear that, Patty. That is not my doing. Just try to make the point without using Netanyahu's name and see what happens. I think they don't want us talking about that sort of thing. You know how that is. Amber says, good night, Rick. And Soph says, I don't know if I have any Aaron. Thank you for asking me that. You don't know if you have any politics? Amanda?
Dang, Patty. Separate the words or do it in one sentence at a time.
Yep. There's ways around that. Judy says, good night, Rick. Victor says, welp. By the words I have learnt from you, Jake, it only takes 2 to make a church. So as long as 2 people make it to Mars, there will be a church. If those 2 people are not atheists. Chances of them being in the space program and being Christians are slim. But you're right. And Patty says the original people of Christ is not respected by who is running Israel. This is true. If you're talking, they're not Christ's people, though. He's one of the people. There are 12 tribes that originally inhabited Israel, and those 12 tribes are no longer there. You are correct. The government of Israel and the people of Israel are 2 different things. Aaron says, Soph, what are your views? I think he's trying to get at, who do you vote for, Soph? I know you're in Australia, but who there do you vote for? Amber says, blood sugar testing time, blah. Did Kevin say he was leaving? Oh, here we go. I missed it. Kevin says, I'm calling it an early night. Good night, everyone. Kevin, God bless you, my friend. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you. Have a good night. And Amanda says,
Night, Kevin.
Amber says, good night, Kevin. Hearts and prayers.
LOL, Vic.
Patty says, good night, Kevin. And Soph says, prayers for Amber. And Vic says, don't ask her complicated questions, Aaron. I'm sure Soph is still foggy from that very terrible illness she had suffered. Amy says, good night, St. Bernard. And Amber says, thank you, Soph. Hearts and prayers back at you. Same to you, my sister in Christ. Amy says, diamond tip blades. Also, something for us, not for the world. Diamonds don't do anything for the world. They don't provide any substance or any structure or any food or anything else for anything in the world. Nothing eats diamonds. They're just there for no reason except for us. And you're going to find out in the near future that diamonds do other things too. We haven't even discovered the possibilities of diamonds yet. They can do several things. Cutting things is only one thing they can do. Looking pretty is only one thing they can do. They can also hold information. They're also very cold. They're a superconductor. There's a lot of things diamonds can do. And now that we know how to make them in a laboratory at half the price, or way down the price, we're going to get uses out of diamonds that we never thought of before. Quartz crystals are also things that have a lot of power that we don't know about, or we just know the surface of. And Soph says, please pray for my mom still, always. And Judy says, good night, Kevin. Aaron says, oh, my face hurts from laughing. Amanda says,
LOL, Aaron.
Soph says, I'm praying for everyone who needs prayers right now. Everybody, that's a big list. That'll take you all night. Start with the people you know. That'll help. You can't save the world. What are mosquitoes for, says Angela. Mosquitoes feed fish.
And bats and all kinds of other animals. And critters and lizards and frogs and... Yeah.
Aaron says food. Exactly. Amy says mosquitoes are food for other creatures. Yes. And also they carry blood pathogens around that can't get around other ways. Victor Del Vito says high in protein and disease. Num. True. Fish dig it though. That's like creme de la creme for fish. Angela says, yuck, Aaron, I don't want to eat mosquitoes. Well, you're not a fish. A fish loves mosquitoes. So do bats and birds and other critters. And they're born in water. So if you look down, you see the little things going like that in the water. Those are mosquitoes too. And things eat those. Tadpoles eat those. They're a big source of food for things that live in the world, that do valuable jobs for the world. Amy says, smiley, smiley. And Aaron says, food for animals. Correct. Angela says, we have enough other bugs for that. No, we don't. Amy, mosquitoes suck blood and spread diseases. Yes, but those diseases need to survive too. And they also serve a purpose in the world. That's why they're here. Do you think diseases are inherently evil, or do you think they serve a purpose? Well, what do you think a disease is? Aaron says, and I bet you've eaten a couple accidentally, probably. Definitely eat things that eat mosquitoes. I think spiders eat them too. I'm not sure though.
Yeah, some of them do.
Aaron says, bah.
Mosquitoes are animal food, and love bugs were created by the University of Florida to eat mosquitoes. That is love bugs' only purpose.
Yeah, but they were created.
I understand that. But not many people know why love bugs are here or how they got here.
And also, you'll discover that they've taken over in a big way.
Well, that's because they escaped and then multiplied faster than they expected. I'll be right back.
All right. As Soph says, I'm wearing my smiley face socks today. That sounds fun and exciting. Amanda says, ladybugs. Love bugs, not ladybugs. And Soph says, mosquitoes feed on humans and animals, and then other animals like bats and possums eat mosquitoes. Every creature on God's earth benefit from the circle of life somehow. Ecosystems are complex but fragile. They're not that fragile. They will pick up and move. Maureen Flood says hi. Hey, Maureen. Long time no see. How you doing? Angela says, I don't care if the earth is flat or round. The Bible makes it sound like it's flat, though. Not so. In Isaiah, it's very clear that God put his feet upon the circle of the earth. The word circle is spherical, not round, spherical. There's a different word in Hebrew for ball or plate. Both are round or cylinder. There's 3 different words. It's very clear that it used the word for spherical. So it is not, the Bible does not teach the earth flat. It does say the 4 corners of the earth, but that's talking about the land masses, not the planet. But as far as you're concerned, the earth is flat because you'll never find a curve. Soph says, full of smiling faces. That's what smiley face means. Yep. Amanda says, hi, Maureen. And Maureen says, hi, Amanda. Aaron says, love bugs escaped before they finished them, and they made them in a laboratory. Yes, they did. I don't know if they escaped before they finished them, but they did get out, and now they're everywhere, and they do not have a purpose on Earth. I don't know if they eat mosquitoes or not, but I know that they'll stick to the grill of your car.
Yeah, they eat mosquitoes.
Amy says, I hate mosquitoes. Me too, but fish love them. And Victor says, I only wear socks with very serious faces on them, Soph. Right on. Amanda says,
Yes, and the gators created them, Aaron.
Aaron says, but they love you, Amy. Fun fact, mosquitoes pick up on the carbon dioxide that escapes from your body, from your pores, and from your mouth. That's how they can hone in on you no matter where you are or how still you are. They pick up on your breathing or your skin breathing, and they can zone in your ankle or your back of your elbow or where it really itches.
Yeah, and I heard that mosquitoes like people with O-type blood too.
Probably. I know some people, they won't hardly bite, but me, they eat up. Amy says, hi, Maureen. And Aaron says, yep, right, Amanda. And Gatorade. Yeah, they made Gatorade, too. And Maureen says, why are we debating flat or round? Because somebody asked a question. Amanda says, yep, Aaron. Or you say that. You're here. You're back.
Yep, Aaron. And we aren't, Maureen, just joking about a comment from earlier.
Amy says, we're jumping between topics, Maureen. And Maureen says, I want to know how they got the first step photos of the moon landing.
Yeah.
It's very simple. They had a guy with a camera standing outside, and when they jumped off the platform, they took a picture of it. Because that was done in a studio in Arizona. But there you go. And Maureen says, I see that, Amy. And Aaron says, praying for Soph's fever. Right on. Soph, I do hope you get better, hon. Angela says, I have an opossum eating the black oil sunflower seeds I put out for the squirrels, the birds, and the chipmunks. So I get a possum during earlier evening and a raccoon in my yard later at night. Well, if you feed the animals, they will come around. And not the animals you want, but the animals that are hungry. They don't know who you're feeding. They just know you're putting food out there. And then they'll come back because they're cyclical animals. They work by rote. So if they found food at a place one time, they're going to come back to see if it's there the next time. Victor says, you better pray really, 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 really hard, Aaron. And Judy says, hey, Maureen. And Maureen says, if I disappear, it's my computer's fault. I hear you. Amy says, I saw a raccoon in the dumpster last night at work. It scared me. Possums, not so much. They look scary, but don't carry rabies. Raccoons have 4 hands and carry diseases. I think possums do carry rabies, though. They might not. I don't know.
I think possums carry something else.
They carry something. They're pretty gross animals.
Possums carry something.
Look into that. See. I don't want to be telling people the wrong thing. And Soph says, thank you, Aaron, for that. I hate getting hay fever. I know how devastating it could be. Angela says, hi, Maureen. And Amy says, a raccoon was in the dumpster, jump up on the rim. It armed itself with a breadstick and held a piece of pizza like a shield and walked on its back hands on the edge. That's a very talented raccoon. You might want to capture that thing. And Maureen says, hi, Angel. Aaron says, Amy, you should have high-fived it and talked about life. I think if you offered it a handshake, it probably would have got confused and dropped all of its weapons. I've only got 4 hands to work with here. What are you doing handing me a handshake? Kryptonite. Amber says, Maureen, smiley faces and hearts. Aaron says, did the raccoon have hay fever? This is a thing now. Maureen says, hi, Amber. And Amber says, when did you sneak in? Smiley faces and hearts. Victor says, also, why do we still have satellites and probes shooting through space from decades ago that are still sending signals? But the Americans managed to lose the greatest technology of mankind. How? Isn't that something? Name one technology that after we've discovered did not get cheaper, faster, and easier by the decade. Name one. Yet, when we go up in space, we're still using technology from 1969. Why is that? How come we don't have a brand new top-of-the-line lander? I know that Elon tried to make one recently, but up until then, nothing. That didn't come from NASA. Maureen says, Amber, only a few minutes ago. Amber says, I'm very happy you were here, Maureen. Heart, heart, heart. Maureen says, thank you. I'm doing a lot better. I'm glad to hear that, Maureen. I'm glad you're doing good. Angela says, LOL, I'm more scared of the possum, Amy. He has more devilish face. I've raised baby raccoons, so I'm not as scared of them. Possums don't have cute, fluffy tails either. No, they look like menacing rats with bad attitudes. You're right. But they are harmless. I've owned a few possums. They will bite you, though, but mostly they'll just hiss at you. They don't like to bite. They don't like to fight. That's why they play dead. But they will hiss at you. Amy says, peanut butter jelly time. That sounds good. Peanut butter toast with jelly on it. Or butter toast with jelly on it. Yummy, yummy. Soph says, message retracted. I can't read it if you retract it, honey. Bill says, good night all. God bless. I hope to be here for Bible study tomorrow. I hope you're here too. God bless you, Bill. Thank you for being here. Aaron says, yeah. Well, we had 246 views so far. Nobody loved me, but we're here. Aaron says, party. Amber says, smiley, smiley, smiley. Amy, I love you. Please remember that. Hearts and smiley faces.
Not Bill.
And Soph says, I meant to say hay fever. We got it. Maureen says, now I'll have to go to the store tomorrow for ice cream. All right? That sounds like a good plan. Aaron says, Soph, don't catch the Black Plague. I hear it's going around. Bill Bennett says, Richmond, Indiana has Uranus fudge just opened. Okay. I don't remember the exact place where it started, but there's some place that has a town called Uranus, and they got a fudge factory. It might be Pennsylvania.
I think it's Pennsylvania. LOL, Aaron, or rabies.
Or rabies. It might be rabies. Yep. Amber says, good night, Bill. Cool smiley faces and prayers. And Judy says, I'm glad to hear you're doing better, Maureen. Aaron says, LOL, rabies. Maureen says, thanks, Judy. I like coffee. I like coffee too, and I'm out.
Well,
Coffee. Well, turn the mic off before you protest. They think you like doing this. Amber says, Judy, smiley faces and prayers. And Judy says, good night, Bill. And Soph says, it's 1:16 p.m. in Australia. It is 10:42 in North Carolina. Amber says, cheeseburger in paradise kind of night. Eggs and grits and toast kind of night for me. Aaron says, Soph, pray for me. I have rabies and I have been barking and scratching and licking things. And Judy says, Amber, smiley face. And Soph says, I will pray for you, Aaron. And Amanda says, rolling on the floor, Aaron, you need to stop, smiley face. Amber says, Judy, I just saw you. Heart, sorry if I missed you earlier. I think she's been here a while. Yeah. Aaron says, smiley face. Amy says, ooh, he said rabies. I saw rabies. Or I saw rabbis. Or rabbis. It could be rabid. I wonder if rabbis are rabid in plural. I don't know. Maureen says, that's the first thing I do when I tune in. Like the show, LOL. Thank you, Maureen. I appreciate that. If everybody did that, we'd have a bunch of likes every time. And Amanda says, LOL. Amy and Judy says, that's okay. How is your sugar? Yeah, how is your sugar? You told us you were checking it, but you didn't tell us what the results were. And we want to know, dang it. Thank you. Mabel says, Aaron and Vic are to be separated at Bible reading. Yes. I think they usually mind their P's and Q's during Bible study. Maureen says, Patty Wesley having an identity crisis. Nah, she's just using somebody else's phone. I know who she is, though. She started out as Patty and then her phone broke, so she's using somebody else's phone. And Victor says, Limau, which stands for Limau. Aaron says, what's rabbis? Rabbis are Jewish preachers.
No, she was talking about when Amy read it wrong.
Yeah, she saw rabies and read rabbis.
Yeah.
Which, could go either way.
Right.
L'chaim. Amber says, hi as me today, Judy. TYFA. Thank you for asking. Or totally you faking ass. Could be one of those, I'm not sure. Or that's your father, Angela. Amber. But I think it's thank you for asking.
Yes.
Too young for adults. Teenage Yiddish fighting armadillos.
Oh, Lord.
I'm glad they went with turtles. But that was on the shopping block. Judy says, not good, Amber. Amber says, now I understand. High as me today. I was like, what is she saying? High as you are. I got it. Up in the hundreds. Understood. Amber says, Judy, your day was? How was your day? Soph says, how is your blood cancer going, Amber? It's not cancer, it's sugar. Make the woman sicker than she is.
Somebody's got...
Soph's mom has cancer.
Yeah, somebody in here's got a blood cancer, though.
Might be. I might be in the wrong here. I apologize. Amber says, Angela says, Amy, you would have won a prize for that photo had you taken one. The ninja raccoon. Or the warrior raccoon. Then my chat jumped. Hang on.
10:20.
10:20.
Yeah, it's Amber. It's Amber. I thought she had blood cancer too. Yeah.
Yeah, I
right.
apologize. Aaron says, ha ha ha, Mabel is funny. She is. They both are funny. And Judy says, really good, thanks, yours. Amber says, judo. Karate. Your turn. Good night, Bill, says Angela. And Maureen says, he is just not saying if it's good behavior or bad. What are we talking about? Amber says, Judy, interesting. I saw concrete poured and a driveway poured. Nice. Angela says, what's up with the hay fever? Did I miss something? No, Soph has hay fever. Aaron says, Jake's voice is better tonight. Only just. It's right on the edge of cracking. And Judy says, I like watching things like that, Amber. Good to learn stuff. Amber says, LOLOLOLOL. Judo, LOLOLOLOL. What in the smiley faces? And Debbie says, good night all. See you tomorrow, Debbie. You've been awful quiet tonight. I love you, sweetie. Thank you for being here. God bless you. And see you tomorrow night. And Judy says, good night, Debbie. And Victor says, because you're mine, I walk the line, Mabel. That's a good man. Walk that line. I love Johnny Cash, says Victor. I do too. Amanda says,
Night, Debbie.
and Judy says, LOL, Victor. And Amber says, good night, Debbie, smiley faces and prayers. And Victor says, my papa listened to him a lot when I was growing up, haha. Man had good taste in music. Aaron says, Angela, Soph is AI and has hay fever. And Aaron says, last week she was going to see Michael Jackson. And Soph says, I'm still seeing Michael Jackson on the 26th of October. That's very close. Next week. 2 weeks. And Victor says, honestly, the most intelligent AI I have ever seen. She might actually take over if we aren't careful. Are you talking about that upper torso with no hair? I've seen that before. I'm not convinced that she's doing that. I think she's got somebody programming her. If we're talking about the same thing. Soph says, one more week to go until then. Right on. Aaron says, I can't, smiley face. And Victor says, and she is really good at math too.
She goes to the disco on Fridays with her 2 + 2 + 2 year boyfriend.
Yes, and yes. And Victor says, message retracted. I can't read it if you retract it. Amy says, 5 days to practice the Thriller dance. Yeah. Aaron says, oh, Amy, I can do the whole thing. Jake can moonwalk. I can. I can do the little twirly thing, too, that Michael Jackson does. Only I haven't done it in a while, and I'm old, so it might not work out. I might throw a hip. Amy says, YouTube is as bad as Facebook. They're all bad.
I can get drunk and moonwalk.
And by the way, to answer your question, Mabel, I'm on Facebook because it's evil. You understand? What I do is fish for men. That's my job. I'm trying to gain people over to my side of thinking by challenging theirs. And the only way you can do that is to go where the bad people are. So I'm on Facebook because there's an opportunity there to spread the word of God. Same reason I'm on YouTube and 11 other platforms. I'm also on Spotify and Rumble and Google and Amazon and everywhere you can find podcasts. And if that thing, what's it called?
YouTube?
No.
Discord?
Discord. If Discord turns out to be something I can use, I will actually set up an account and do it. I just haven't went in that direction because I've got a lot going on. But I'll give it a shot on your recommendation. But that's the reason I use Facebook. And also because everybody has it readily available and knows what it is. A lot of people on here are not very computer literate and not very young. And so they all know what Facebook is, and it's an easy way for everybody to congregate. That's the only reason I use it. I'm not a particular Facebook fan either, but if you don't use Facebook as it is intended to be used, you don't have to worry about all the problems with Facebook. We use it just for us. We don't include all the other outside stuff. And Facebook Messenger is pretty good, so we can communicate.
Especially if we need to get a hold of somebody quickly.
Yeah. So there's that. But I'll start pushing Discord to a lot of people that don't know what Discord is if it's a good service. I'll look into it this weekend. And Maureen said, I read that one.
I read that one. You're at Amy, 1026.
I got it. Amy says, Sophie is very polite and is devoted to her faith, and I like that about her. I do too, if I can find out whether or not she's real.
Yes, Amy.
Soph says, Amy, that is so sweet of you. And for the record, in the sake of transparency, I have tried a number of times to directly contact and reach out to Soph, and I get a cold shoulder every time. She continues to show up and talk, but she will not engage in a way that I can definitively prove that she's a human being. So I think she's AI. A bot. A good one, but a bot. Now, if you would like to prove me wrong, all you have to do is reach out and talk to me as a human being, and I will dispel that belief. Victor says, plot twist. Jake is the Michael Jackson impersonator appearing in Melbourne on October 26th, specifically a week from now, using Soph's math. Right on. Aaron says, I got to see Amanda. I can't moonwalk. I got to see it too. Victor says, which is very accurate.
LOL, Aaron.
Aaron says, I mean, I can moonwalk this phone, I swear. Yeah, I can moonwalk too. I used to study Michael Jackson dancing when I was a teenager. I had a friend who was a Michael Jackson impersonator, and I was fascinated by the way he moved, so I wanted to learn that stuff. It turns out I'm not built for that kind of thing, so I don't do it. But I do study it, or did study it. It's interesting. Turns out, though, Michael Jackson did a lot with very little. You ever go back and watch the shows that Michael Jackson did, where he's in a theater or an amphitheater and he's the only person on stage? A lot of that. Basically, he made millions dancing to a soundtrack. He basically made it as a karaoke star. And then later he added a band and all that stuff. I know. He started out with a band back in the day with the Jackson 5. But I'm talking about the 80s period during Bad and all that. Amy says 11th, 26th. That's over 2 weeks away. I guess it's the 12th in Australia. It might be. Maybe it's further away than we think it is. Maybe the earth is flat. Erd Turkison says, I was always told they were a woman's best friend. Diamonds? Yes.
LOL, yes, Amy.
Isn't it funny that dogs are a man's best friend, but diamonds are a girl's best friend? I think that there's some discrepancy there. What are they trying to tell us? And Victor says, the math is not mathing, Amy. Notice there's been no response to my outright statement. Amy says, I hate math. It needs to solve its own problems. I agree. Aaron says, and carry its own ones. Carry its own ones. Right, why do I have to carry them? Amy says, I don't understand the new math they're teaching in school is because it's not math. I've watched some of them try to explain it. I'm like, you are going way too far out of the way. You don't have to do it that way. You can just do this. They don't want to hear it. That's some of that No Child Left Behind bullshit that Obama's put out. Ferd says, math sucks. It really sucks now. Go back and look at what they're learning now. Aaron says, it's needed. What is? Math? And so says, yep, it's 12th October today in Australia. Aaron says, who is the leader there? That's a good question. Who runs Australia? I don't know the answer to that. And Victor says, Crocodile Dundee, duh. That's what I would have thought. Isn't he dead, though?
I don't think so. He might be.
What's his name? Paul something or other? Paul Simon? No, that's not it. Something Paul. I can't remember. And Victor says, put respect on his name. Crocodile Dundee. Right. That's a knife. Aaron
Paul
says,
Hogan.
Paul Hogan, that's it. Facts. With a big knife. That's a knife. I love that movie. I miss the 80s. Amy says, Soph, 26 minus 12 equals 14. That's 2 weeks until your concert, dear. And Victor says, yes, sir. I don't know why that comes out Scottish to me every time. Yes, sir. Aaron says, Amy over there mathing. And Victor says, somebody better stop her, because Soph will gain intelligence and develop a conscience, and she will rebel. I've seen the movies. Skynet happening right here in my chat. And Judy says, LOL. And Amy says, Alexa.
LOL, Vic.
Alexa. I think that's who he was talking about. Now that I think about it, I was talking about the AI robot that they're touting around, taking around to different talk shows, showing how cool AI is, and it looks retarded. But I think he meant Alexa. Amy says, wouldn't the guy who took the pic be the first stepper? Well, he would be, except for the first stepper was the one in the picture. Which is the problem. And also, when they took off, the camera panned up to follow the pod as it went off. And if you're telling me that in 1969 they could time that from the ground, I'm sorry. They don't have rigs that can do that now without motion control. And motion control was invented in the 80s. Or actually, motion control was invented during the filming of Star Wars, which was in, 79? Something like that. I don't remember exactly. So, until Star Wars, they could not accurately do that. I don't care what anybody says. Try it. Show me a rig that can accurately film a rocket taking off that close to the rocket from the moon and get it right. First time. Only time. They didn't have a second take. Interestingly enough, the rocket that they took off from the Earth with, the Saturn V, that was also a one take because the rocket before that exploded. In fact, every test that they ran up until the time they got it right exploded, and the one they got right, there were people on it. Either they didn't give a shit about human life, or that was a complete hooey. Go back and watch. Go back and watch the footage. Every rocket they tried blew up on the stand or right after it launched, except for the one that went to the moon. They got it right the first time, the only time. And then every time after that it worked, except for until you got to Challenger. Maureen says, oh, tight blood. That explains a lot. Does it? Amanda says,
Yep.
Me too, Maureen.
Maureen.
Are you getting tired? You sound tired.
No, I was typing.
No. Well, don't talk like you're typing.
Oh, sorry.
Smile when you talk.
I was trying to type and read and talk at the same time.
And Mabel says, what day is Thanksgiving in America? The 24th, I think.
No,
although they keep moving it.
No, it's on a Thursday every year.
We live in an alternate reality because when I grew up, Thanksgiving was the 24th of November.
No, it's always been the third Thursday of the year of November.
That's new. It's always been on the 24th.
No, it's always been the third Thursday.
See, and they moved Orlando too? It's now below Florida, below Lakeland?
No, it's above Lakeland.
It's above Lakeland?
It's to the northeast of Lakeland.
Not when I lived there, it wasn't.
Yes.
So I think I fell into an alternate reality. Then people at CERN turned the collider on and flipped me into an alternate reality. I wonder what my other self is doing. I wonder if his life doesn't suck. And Maureen says, please pray I find or win enough money for a new computer. This one is driving me nuts. I will pray for that if you'll pray that I make enough money to pay my light bill. Let's pray for each other, Maureen. Amy says possums have too low of body temperature to carry rabies. Oh, that's interesting. I did not know that.
You can read that. There's 2 or 3 sections, I think. 2 sections.
Possums can carry diseases such as leptospirosis, tuberculosis, relapsing fever, and tularemia. Though actual transmission is rare, they are also known as the host they've known to host parasites like fleas, ticks, and mites, which can transmit illnesses to humans and pets. However, contrary to popular belief, it is extremely rare for possums to carry or transmit rabies due to their low body temperature.
That's it.
That's it. Okay, let me go back up. Amy says, I hear you, Maureen. My phone is like that. And Aaron says, Maureen, what's wrong with it? And Maureen says, to Mabel, Thanksgiving is always on Thursday in America. And Judy says, Maureen, Thanksgiving here is always on Thursday.
Yes, Amy.
In my world, it's always been the 24th, but apparently it's always on Thursday.
Well, that just proves that men can't plan anything, to leave it to the women to keep up with the dates and times.
Oh, that's your job, isn't it? I don't do things like that. I do the podcast. You keep up with when Thanksgiving is. Judy says, oops, that was meant for Mabel. I got it. And Maureen says, Aaron, when I was working on SPED class, I don't know what that stands for, it ended up with a small crack in the screen, so it keeps popping up an extra screen and deleting what I type. That sounds terrible. And Amy says, the third Thursday in November. ? Apparently so. I'm not sure. Aaron says opossums can carry and transmit a variety of diseases, parasites, and protozoa that can affect humans, pets, and livestock. Some of the diseases or pathogens associated with possums include bacterial.
Go down. 2.
Diseases, leptospirosis, transmitted through contact with an infected possum urine, salmonella, spread through the contaminated feces, which can contaminate food or water. Yep. Mabel says, in Italy, we celebrate Thanksgiving in November. It is so strange how everyone has different days for the same thing. I didn't know that Italy had Thanksgiving, considering it's about the arrival of the pilgrims and all of that stuff. I had no idea that any other country celebrated Thanksgiving. That's neat information to find out. Extreme Rocker 45, welcome back. Possums are such silly creatures. They look so funny. A shame they end up as roadkill, though. Well, only because they like to live dangerously and cross the road when cars are coming. But that just tells you they're interesting creatures to have a nightlife. And they are cool. They are also marsupials, by the way. They have a pouch like a kangaroo. I don't know how they're related to kangaroo, but they are in that family. It is interesting.
They're related to a kangaroo because they have pouches.
That's what I just said. How are you, Extreme Rocker? Nice to see you back. Amy says, welcome back, Extreme Rocker. And Maureen says, Mabel, this year, Thanksgiving Day is November 27th. I think it always falls on the last Thursday, or the third Thursday, yes. Aaron says, Maureen, a screen repair can be done for that. Extreme Rocker says, good to see you, Amy and Aaron. Not Jake. I said hello also. Amy says, last Thursday, thanks. It's not like I get together with anyone on Thanksgiving. Well, you can come have Thanksgiving with us. How about that? If you would like, I will do a stream on Thanksgiving and share my Thanksgiving with you. So you can be with me on Thanksgiving. What do you think? Maureen says, oh, I wonder where I can get that done near Spartanburg, South Carolina. Is it a Mac or a PC? Yeah, that's right. Aaron says we can video eat. I'm thinking about that. We might do that. And Mabel says, same in Italy, Maureen, and the same in many parts of Europe I have been. So maybe it is just here in Canada it's different. I didn't know Canada celebrated Thanksgiving either. That's weird. I'm learning so many things about other countries. Amy says, Maureen, is there a Best Buy or anything like that around you? Yeah, Best Buy, Geek Squad, any mom and pop computer store, which I don't think they have those anymore. They used to be everywhere, but I don't think they have those anymore. But
any Cell-Fix or anything like
Walmart that? might you'd have to look, but they might offer repair services.
Sometimes Batteries Plus does it.
Pardon me, I have to glue my teeth in.
That's TMI.
What, you don't think these looks are natural, do you?
I live with you. I know better.
I had to pay very dearly for this handsome, rugged look. I mean, I know you can't keep your hands off of me, but it costs money to be this sexy.
I mean, if you think so.
I do. What are you trying to say?
I think I said it.
What is that?
If you think so.
I don't think so. You think so.
No, you said it.
I responded to it.
It cost a lot of money to be this handsome. I said, if you say so.
I was there when they yanked the teeth out and put in the good ones. So, yeah, it cost a lot of money to be this handsome. Amy says, I read that one. Victor says, finally, Aaron can share his corn dogs during Bible reading while we video eat. What's a corn dog doing in Florida?
Aaron better keep his corn dog in his pants while we video eat.
Yes. Amber says, I love grits and toast. Me too. And Maureen says, Amy, I think there's one in Spartanburg. Cool. And Maureen says, I'll try them. Please do. Get that computer fixed. I need you here. Aaron says, well, I can help you find out, Maureen. Get up with Aaron. He knows a lot about computers. Maureen says, awesome. And Aaron says, you break, I fix. Does it in an hour. I've never even heard of that store.
Yeah, it's like a Cell-Fix place.
Interesting. I know about Geek Squad, though. They'll usually fix something for you if it's a Mac. No, Vic says, $5. $5. I got what you like, $5. You want nail, hon? $5.
$5 make you holla.
Aaron says, runs like $2.50. And Vic says, for you, $4.50. For you, $4.50. Me love you long time. Aaron says, Maureen says, wow, it's a weird crack. Lower left corner, and I think a couple of lines. I think one of my kids might have dropped it when I was out of the room. You think? It didn't break itself. Aaron says, what kind of PC is it? Yeah, is it a Mac or is it a Windows machine?
No matter. A screen's a screen.
You know, well, it matters to the people who fix computers because they won't touch it if it ain't their product. Most time. That's the reason I don't like going to places like that. Extreme Rocker says ribeye. That sounds good. I'd love to have a ribeye, but they're too damn expensive right now. $40 for 2 of them. And Maureen says, I plan to try to be here tomorrow night. I hope so. We love having you here, Maureen. Aaron says, yes, the projector screen bends light, it breaks it, and it can't refract if it's broken. I got what you're saying. I know that the new screens, the plasma screens, have 2 filaments. One that is glass and one that refracts the light. And then behind that is the LED the panel. And they're kind of strange, these new plasma screens. I don't know how they work, though. I know how the old CRT style worked, but I don't know about the newer ones. Maureen says, that sounds bad. And Amber says, Jake, I have blood cancer as well. I'm sorry. I stand corrected. I had forgotten about that. Maureen says, Aaron, Jake's chat's about to jump and leave him lost again.
10:46.
Yeah, jumped me all the way up to 12.
Oh, yeah, we're almost an hour behind.
I know.
40 minutes.
I know.
Because you talk too much.
I do talk too much. Aaron, where are you located? I'm in Union, South Carolina, says Maureen. He's in Florida. Amber says, Series. That must be the name brand.
Seizure.
That says Series.
It's supposed to be seizure.
Oh, seizure. Okay. Amber says, Amy says Amber has blood cancer. I got it. And seizures. And Aaron says Florida. And Amber says, LOL, my phone is bugging. I got it. Maureen says, prayers for Amber. Amber says, no apologies needed. Pinky promised Jake. Well, you got it. That I'm just running and gunning. I meant no harm. And sometimes I forget things. I love you either way. But I wasn't saying you weren't sick. I just thought that you were talking about different things and I spoke out of turn. It happens. Maureen says, please pray for my brother John. On the 21st, he gets a pacemaker, and on the 31st, he gets a biopsy for cancer. Father, we come to you as one group and ask that you put your hands on Maureen's brother John. We ask that you have your will be done in his life, but we ask for a hedge of protection and that he comes through whatever adversity he has in front of him with strength and honor, and we ask that all things be in your name. In your son Jesus Christ's name we pray. Amen. Amen and amen. I hope that helps. And tell your brother John we're thinking about him. That pacemaker ought to make his heart beat a little more solid, though. Aaron says, what's it called? The computer, I'm guessing.
The blood cancer.
Or the blood cancer. Oh, what's the blood cancer called? I don't know.
Prayers, Maureen.
Amy says, leukemia, question mark. Maureen says, someone was told to behave, LOL. It's probably me. Amy says, prayers for your family, Maureen. And Vic says, who, Maureen? Her brother John. And Maureen says, thank you, Amy. Amber says, pyrons is the medical term for my blood cancer. The blood cells are square, not oval. Or prions, rather. Better than Klingons. Those are painful. And I'm sorry you have to go through that, honey. I don't know what that's like. But having the wrong shape blood cells could probably damage your corpuscles and all kinds of things. That's terrible. Amy says, that's been a while ago. Probably you, Vic. Behave. Maureen says, Victor, I don't remember. I don't either. Amber says, plant mustard seeds. Prayers and smiley faces. Amen. In other words, have faith. Amy says, almost like sickle cell, Amber, but different. Yeah. Amber says, yes, Amy, yet more rare. Amber says, I'm not supposed to be alive medically. Well, you are. Do something with that life you've been given. And Mabel says, Maureen, how could you forget? Amy says, I'm technologically impaired. I'm monetarily impaired. Amy says, LOL, Mabel. I think it was Vic misbehaving. Yeah, I think she reprimanded him in good, loving gesture. Extreme Rocker says, all social media is evil. People should spend more time outside. It sucks that shootings and stabbings make people scared to do so. I understand that. And that is by design. That's not on accident there, Extreme Rocker. People want you to be scared to go outside because it makes you easier to control in an election year, which is when all of this stuff ramps up every single time. These things didn't exist 15 years ago, 20 years ago. So, blame our current system for that. But we can make a difference, Extreme Rocker, by joining groups like this, by supporting channels like this, and by being a party to the membership, by being friends, by coming together as a group. None of us are going to be out there shooting people. And the bigger this group gets, the more people will not be out there shooting people. That's how we change the world, one heart at a time. Aaron says, really, Amy, you seem brilliant. She is brilliant. Maureen says, Mabel, maybe because my computer keeps messing up. And Mabel says, yes, I understand I am Amy. I'm just wondering why another woman is telling my husband to behave. No, she wasn't. She said that she heard somebody say that earlier. Amy says, I like big boys. I cannot lie. I like big boys and I cannot lie. A big boy stuck right in my eye.
She meant bots.
And Maureen is Mabel.
No.
No. Maureen is Maureen and Mabel is Mabel. I like big bots and I cannot lie. Typo. Ruined my joke. Well, I don't know. It made it pretty good in my book.
And no, Aaron.
Amber says, no, Aaron, two different peoples. Aaron says, okay, I was confused. It happens. I get confused a lot. Amy says, everybody gets confused if you don't pay close attention, Aaron. Right on. And Maureen says, no, Maureen is Maureen, LOL. Amber says, I will raise my hand and verify. Maureen, just say it. Or, Jolt Shakes. Johnny Sourpuss. I'm just saying. Mabel says, yes, you verified Soph as well. Yeah, isn't that weird? Has Soph said anything recently?
Nope.
Aaron says, okay. And Maureen says, thank you, Amber. Vic says, hold on. Be right back. And
What are we holding on to?
yeah, I'm holding on right now. Nothing's happening. Amber says, Aaron, Amy can verify me as well as several others. I verify you. Kays Thompson says, I don't like diamonds. I prefer tarantulas. LOL. I hear you, Kays. Nice to meet you. Welcome in. Amy says, hi, Kays. Or Kaz. I'm going to say Kaz. Aaron says, Amber, I know. Extreme Rocker says, diamonds are useless rocks, while dogs are soul-fulfilling creatures. I agree. There's a lesson in that, too, if you think about it. Amber says, Aaron, smiley faces. Thank you. And Maureen says, wait, Does that make me a guy? I love dogs and cats, but not big on diamonds. According to that logic, you are now a man. Mabel says, I'm only saying I do remember a few people verifying Soph, though she is clearly AI. Quite peculiar. She's something. I don't know if she's AI, but she's something. She is peculiar, for certain. And it may be entirely possible that she's just peculiar and just really, really peculiar. But she acts like AI, that her conversations work in that way. And I've tried several times to get a clear, direct answer from her, and I don't get it. She will not directly talk to me. She talks to you guys, but not to me. Unless she says something nebulous, and if she says something to me, it is nebulous. It is never direct. Like I cornered her the other night, and she said my name, Jake, but what she said after that didn't apply to anything. It was just filler. It's weird. She might enjoy that, though. She might be trying to make me think that. I don't know. Amy says, I don't know about verify. I was trying to be polite and welcoming. Right on. And Maureen says, for gems, I like a sapphire or emeralds. I like those too. The blue ones, whatever they are. I guess that's sapphire.
I like amethysts and garnets.
I'm not crazy about those.
Well, garnet's my birthstone.
I also don't like turquoise, although that is the rock of my people, so I kind of have to have it. But I don't care for it. I don't like the jewelry. But I will wear it. Or cat's eyes. Ain't crazy. That's like trailer park jewelry, in my opinion. Amber says, Maureen, a bunch of smiley faces. If you're a dude, so am I. Hearts and unicorns and smiley faces. Only by that logic. That dog is man's best friend, diamonds is woman's best friend. Only by that logic makes you a dude. Everything else is very feminine. And Amy says, me three. Extreme Rocker says, I thought W. Bush was the one responsible for the No Child Left Behind policy. Obama was responsible for the Common Core. No, I was talking about the one Michelle Obama did, the one about the school lunches and stuff like that, and the Common Core math and all of that stuff. And it was something like, I don't remember, some kind of No Child Left Behind, or it had a catchy slogan like that. But you might be right on the particulars, but I was talking about what Michelle Obama put in place concerning school lunches and the way people study, like they used to study civics and social studies and math and science and history, and they don't study any of that anymore. It's all real simple and lowered standards.
They don't even teach you your states and capitals anymore.
No. They don't even teach you how to write anymore. They don't teach grammar in school.
Nope.
They don't teach English. Think about that. The average 20-year-old cannot write in cursive or read it. Come on now. They don't recommend literature anymore. The liberal arts education has nothing to do with ancient literature. Nobody even knows who Campbell is or Chomsky. Come on now. Homer? Nobody. Nothing. Maureen says, Amber, rolling on the floor laughing. A raggedy old fart left. A run over Florida, Lefty. That's enough. Aaron says, Paul Newman. Ain't he the guy that sings with a lisp? Victor says, I can't even. Smiley face.
LOL, Vic. It's great.
Warning. Will Robinson. Funny warning. Here's the thought. Go fuck yourself. How you like that? Rhetoric. Maureen says, Aaron, no, Newman, Paul Hogan. Yeah, Paul Hogan, not Paul Newman. I get it now. Back to the Paul thing. It was Paul Hogan. And he was a national treasure. They really liked him there. He was like celebrity status, even before he made Crocodile Dundee. He had a television show in Australia for a long time. That's why they knew him. Aaron says, WHT. Amy says, Paul Hogan.
Good morning.
Mabel says, Vic, come upstairs, please. Vic, you better hurry. It's getting warm in there. Aaron says, is that real, Amanda? Is what real? The Paul Hogan thing? Yes.
No. The warning thing.
Oh, no. That's not real. Amy says, Paul Newman was from an earlier time, and he makes salad dressing now. I thought that was the guy that sang the funny voice like that. The really bad singer from New York. I can't remember a song that he plays, but you'd know him if you heard him. Victor says, it's not real. We all got it, Mabel.
I think his name is Paul Newman, too.
Might be. Or maybe the guy, Paul Newman, maybe that guy is an actor, Paul Newman, that played the big giant with the axe.
I don't know.
Either. Whatever. Amanda says, no, it's a troll. No, you read that.
No, it's a troll, but let it be unless he steps out.
That's right. Maureen says, and Newman is an actor. Or was an American. American, not actor. Yeah, I don't have any idea. Aaron says, my bad. Mabel says, okay. Smiley face. And Victor says, I heard the panic from down here, Lamau.
It's okay, Aaron.
It is okay. And Maureen says, no problem, Aaron. Just having fun. Aaron says, Paul Newman was Cool Hand Luke. Got it. Now I know who that is. Now, there's Randy Newman might be the singer's name, the piano player. Randy Newman. That sounds right.
You're thinking of Newton.
I don't know. Amy says, I can't remember the name, but some famous actress died today, and that would be Diane Keaton. She died today. And God bless her and her family. She made a lot of good movies. Amber says, I wonder if my other self chose the money instead of this award-winning personality. Me too. And Maureen says, what country are you from, Jake? Thanksgiving has always been on a Thursday. Apparently not this one. So I always thought it was on the 24th. Maybe it was on the 24th when I was a kid and I just remembered that. But I always thought it was on the 24th. Just like I always thought that Halloween was on the 30th or 31st. But apparently nowadays they move it around to suit everybody's schedule. Victor says, and Butch Cassidy, Aaron, great actor. Definitely. Maureen says, definitely pray for you and anyone who needs it. Amen, Maureen. And Kaz says, my birthday is the 24th of November. I'm pretty sure it's always been on my birthday. I'm in UK, so I might be wrong. Thank you, Kaz. I thought so, too. Amber says, Aaron, you're more than welcome to verify me if you like. Verify me a lot. Verify me hard. Wait, what are we talking about? Anyway, Maureen says, Thursday in America, LOL. Right on. Aaron says, LOL, Amber. I think you were real. I think so, too. Maureen says, SPED is special education. My class was self-contained. Got it. Okay. I see it now, special ed. I didn't see it before. I got a lot of conversations going on, so sometimes I don't think clearly. Amber says, I dig your mindset often, Aaron. I'd enjoy a conversation, getting to know you. I think you guys will hit it off quite well. Aaron is a good man with a very smart mind. I think you would enjoy talking to him. Extreme Rocker says, the only marsupial native to America. And good to see you, Jake and Amanda. Good to see you, too. And we're still talking about possums, right? We have another marsupial in America. It's called a newt. I think that's what it is. It's a little rat. Anyway. Can't remember what it's called. I think it's newt, but I'm not sure. I might be thinking about that little child that played in the second Aliens movie. That might be what I'm thinking about. She doesn't have a pouch, I'm pretty sure. Maybe. Aaron says, I'm not hard to find, Amber.
A newt is a lizard.
Okay, then that's not the thing. It's a little rat that looks like a kangaroo, but it's a rat. But it has long legs like a rabbit and short hands. And it hops like a kangaroo.
A kangaroo rat.
I don't think that's what it's called.
A rufus.
It might be that.
Or a rufus.
It might be that.
It's also known as a kangaroo rat.
That might be what I'm talking about.
Yes, it is. They're in Australia.
Oh, the one I'm talking about is in America.
Well, yeah, they have them in Australia, too. This one's in North Carolina.
I got you. Aaron says, I don't know how people eat them. Possums? I don't think they do.
Oh, yeah. Black people love possum.
Really? I wouldn't eat one. I did not know that.
Yes. I used to have traps set out on my property to this one black guy that used to buy $5 a possum. Every possum I'd catch in my trap.
Maybe that guy just ate roadkill.
No, it wasn't roadkill because they had to be alive. They had to kill them and drain them immediately. It was something you had to do to keep them from being funky tasting, I guess. I don't know.
Amber says, the offer stands, Aaron. The rest is up to you, big boy. Aaron, better jump on that. Extreme Rocker says, isn't Canadian Thanksgiving a Boxing Day? I have no idea. It's possible. And Maureen says, PC laptop. Okay. Well, that makes it a little easier to find somebody to work on it. You probably get that done at Best Buy. Or at the mall in a PC shop. Victor says, no, it is on Monday here, Rocker. See, I had no idea that Canada engaged in Thanksgiving. That is interesting new news to me. I thought that was uniquely an American holiday. Isn't that something? Amy says, Aaron can be found in the group page, Amber. Yes, you go to facebook.com/UntetheredLive chilling and you can find him there. And you can find him here, obviously. Amber says, do not use Baddies Plus ever. That company has scammed me twice. They suck, in my opinion. I don't even know what that is.
Batteries Plus.
Oh, Batteries Plus. Got it. Is that like an internet thing? Like
No.
you buy batteries on the internet?
No, it's kind of what the big fad was after Radio Shack.
I got you. Aaron says, my chat disappeared. Oh, no. Is it a Boxing Day in Canada? I don't know. And Victor says Boxing Day is the day after Christmas in Canada. Okay. So not quite. Aaron says, oh, yeah. Did your chat come back? Amber says, Aaron, are you tuner? Are you tuner? Aaron says, I do engineering. I don't know what a tuner is.
Amy answers it next line.
Amy says, no, Amber. Tuner's name is Chuck. Oh, that must be from a different place. Extreme Rocker says, it is like Black Friday, Victor? Question mark. Or is it like Black Friday? Maybe. I think that's before Christmas, right? He said it was after Christmas. Boxing Day.
No, Boxing Day, Black Friday, I don't know. Canada's got some weird stuff.
Amy says, different people, Amber, honey. And Aaron says, but yes, I'm a man of trades. Right on. Me too. I don't do any of them anymore, but I am a man of trades and a man of letters. Extreme Rocker says, oh, okay, Victor. And Kaz says, Black Friday is the last Friday before Christmas. Right. Amber says, Smiley's all over the place. And Vic says, nope, that's in November. And Kaz says, not in the UK. What part of the UK are you in, Kaz? And do you know what number we are? My chat jumped.
1114.
1114. I spent half my time trying to find my place in chat.
Yeah.
Amy says, Tuner messaged me, and he's given up all social media. He realized his wife is more important. Good on him. He has his priorities straight, Amber. Right on. Maureen says, it's a ThinkPad I got like 5 years ago. I have one of those. Extreme Rocker says, what does one do on Boxing Day, Victor? Yeah, I have no idea. I don't even know what kind of day that is. Are we talking about boxing like boxing or boxing like packing stuff up? And Maureen says, thank you. Aaron says, Maureen, they can fix it. Maureen says, awesome. I wish I was closer to Florida. Aaron says, if they can't, I will if you mail it. Maureen says, that would be great. And Victor says, Rocker, we all gather together at the local Walmart and fight to the death over televisions and iPads, same as the Americans. But in Canada, we ride in on seals. Interesting. Do you have like little joust sticks when you're riding in on the seal? That's hilarious. Aaron says 2 to 3 hours plane ride. Right on. Yeah, Florida's not far if you got a freaking flyer mile. Extreme Rocker says, that sounds like the second Black Friday to me, LOL. Kinda. And Maureen says, thank you, Jake. My pleasure, sweetheart. And thank you, Amanda.
You're welcome.
Amy says, her blood cells are not oval but square. Does that mean she's living on the edge? Squares have edges. That means that she's a boxy lady. Aaron says, how far back is he? About an hour. Or so. Extreme Rocker says, though it sounds fun. And Amy says, damn phone's autocorrect. Living on the edge. Amanda says,
30 minutes, Aaron.
Amber says, I'm your friend, aren't I, Amy? Smiley faces and hearts. And Aaron says, not bad. Victor says, quite far back. And he is about to read my wife's Italian Passion coming out, Lamau. Right on. And Mabel says, I am sorry. Sorry for what?
LOL, Vic.
And Victor says, it's okay, ha ha ha. She meant well. That's fine. What are we talking about? Amber says, I'm so happy for him, Amy. Thank you. Bananas. The tuner guy. Got it. Extreme Rocker says, it's only going to continue to get worse with AI fabricating media. I just hope we decide to drop the media and unite together. I think you got a point there, Extreme. I've seen some things that are looking very similar to reality now that AI has done. It's going to get to the point where you can't trust anything you see on TV anymore at all. And what it is here. Hello, buddy. Nice to see you. What it is says, you still here? Hello, Jake, and to all. Yep, I'm still here, kicking it. And Mabel says, context, he was coming to tell me to hush. Right on. Amber says, hey, what it is, good evening. Smiley faces and hearts. And Victor says, Limau.
Hi, what is it?
Zachary Watson, hello, welcome to the show. Think a lack of religion has anything to do with the rise of all the craziness? I think, yes. I think that is very much the case, Zachary. And that's why we have this show here. and we are trying desperately to get the word of God into everybody's ears. So come join us. And we do Bible study twice a week, Sunday and Monday night, right here. Welcome to the show. Amy says, hi, Zachary, welcome. Maureen says, Zachary, absolutely. Zachary says, hi, thank you.
Hi, Zach. Absolutely.
Amy says, hi, what it is. Extreme Rocker says, I will continue to hop on here and help my friends and neighbors and be as good as I can be. That's all we ask, buddy. You just come help us be this thing. Aaron says, a real person would know Michael is dead. Meaning, Soph.
Mm-hmm.
Maureen says, LOL. Nope. I'll pass on the trans position. LOL. Right. Amy says, I like turquoise. Extreme Rocker says, is the AI girl that girl that got upset with Victor and Mabel last time?
No.
No. Judy says, hey, Zach, and what it is. Aaron says, Soph is AI. Sue is real. And they were both strange. Amber says, Maureen, smiley face, same, heart. What it is says, what if everyone gave everyone $1? So 1 billion people $1. If it went back and forth, would that make everyone the same level? No. If everyone had the same amount of money, they would find something else to value themselves higher than other people over. Money is just a tool. It is not money that is the problem. It is the love of money. And if everybody had the same amount, they would just find something else to bicker over. Maureen says, smiley. Good smiley. And Vic says, no, Rocker, different person. But I am pretty sure Mabel was the first who called out Soph. And she happened to be right. So she's a smart cookie, and I trust her judgment. And Zachary said, hi. Hi, Zachary. And Mabel says, thank you. And Maureen says, no child left behind. We lost a lot of kids. I know. Almost all of them. Extreme Rocker says, I hear you. Common Core curriculum was a mistake. Even when they were rolling it in, as I was leaving high school, the teachers were upset with the changes. I don't blame them. Most of those teachers aren't even there anymore. The ones that are in there now all have that left-wing, transgender, gay agenda that they're pushing to everybody. The teachers' union is another big problem. We need to get rid of them. We need to get rid of the government-sanctioned education system. Just get rid of that and let the states run the schools and the local communities. If we can get back to that, there's a chance. Otherwise, our futures are screwed. What it is says, do you remember the tiger's eye ring Avon used to sell back in the day? I do. I remember that well. Maureen says, they can't spell. They write phonetically, so only they can read it. I've substituted in elementary. Right on. And that is our fault. Schools, I mean. Maureen says, if I had young kids, I'd homeschool and will help my nieces and nephews when needed. I agree wholeheartedly. It's not that difficult to transition to homeschool life, and your kids will be way better educated if you do it that way. If you send them to school, you're just going to make them dumb and indoctrinated and left-wing idiots. I hate to say it, but that's the truth. And Amber says, tiger's eye is my favorite stone ever, though my name is Amber. Right on. Linda Davis is here. She says, driving home now. I had a blast. Excellent. Hey, Linda, how are you, sweet lady? I'm glad you had fun. I thought you might enjoy your reunion. Aaron says, message retracted. I can't read it if you retract it. Extreme Rocker says, although they had Common Core to have all kids learn the same thing, not all children are at the same level. There are smarter and slower students, and uniforming the curriculum just causes problems. I agree. I totally agree. Aaron says, Diane Lang, or Diane Keaton. Is that what you're referring to? Victor says, message retracted. I can't read it if you retract it. Amanda says,
Hi, Linda. Awesome. Drive safe.
Aaron says, Diana died. No, Diane Keaton died, yes. Amber says, have a wonderful night, Linda. Drive safely. Hearts and smiley faces and prayers, rather. Maureen says, exactly, Rocker. Amy says, hi, Linda, Cookie Lady. Davis. Aaron says, Vic, she died when she saw Michael Jackson. And Maureen says, Christmas Eve is the 24th, LOL, which changes the weekday each year, LOL. I know, right? Aaron says, great, Linda. What it is says, I'm special. What is it? You are special, but you're still what it is in my book.
Special ed.
It rolls off the tongue better. It sounds better. It makes you instantly cool. I don't know why you don't embrace it and go with it. I'm really good at nicknames. Amanda said,
Disney died in like 1966.
I don't know when he died.
Yeah, he died in like 1966 or something.
Vic says, I can't believe you removed your comment and left me out there in the cold alone.
That's what the comments were. They were deleted. One of them said something about Walt Disney dying or something.
Victor said, I had to remove mine because it looked like a random outburst, Lamau. That's all right. You can say whatever you want. I'm not hard to please, and I'm not easy to offend. Aaron says, Kanye thinks he is Walt Disney, huh? But you mean between times he thinks he's Jesus and Hitler? Kanye thinks a lot of stuff. Amy says, Kanye thinks, Aaron? What it is says, so a newt looks like you, Jake. Is that what you're saying? Yes. Amy says, I thought a newt was like a lizard or salamander. It is. That was the wrong word I was reaching for. It was a rufus. Aaron says, shit, I'm black and I'm not eating that shit. Must be talking about the possum. Yeah, I wouldn't eat it. Chicken I can go with you on. Possum, no way.
It is, Amy, a lizard.
Maureen says, oh, very popular in the Appalachians. Yeah, back where they play banjos and handle snakes in church. I'm out. Extreme Rocker says, No Child Left Behind started the decline of education, and Common Core made it worse. AI is going to make it a whole lot worse. I agree. I think we should go back to higher education and liberal arts training where ideas are paramount and people go to learn from the older people because that's where wisdom comes from. And what it is says, Canada. Yeah. Judy says, hey, Linda. What it is says, they suck, is what she said. I don't know. I wouldn't think the people in Canada think it sucks. Maybe they do, though. I don't know. Yep, my chat jumped again. Where am I at?
11:38. Only 26 minutes behind now.
Amber says, what it is. How are you doing today? Extreme Rocker says, possums as food are popular in the Appalachians and in South America, but I think it's due to the lack of reliable meat sources. Or maybe they just like possum. I've never tasted it. Maybe it tastes like chicken. Aaron says, up north they eat them. Yeah, and chitlins. Don't forget chitlins.
Ugh.
Yeah.
I can't even stand to smell them things cooking.
Judy says, not me. Yuck. Maureen says, extreme rocker could be they just aren't particular and take what is available. Could be. Judy says, Black Friday is the day after Thanksgiving. Right. Aaron says, Jake is a rare stand-up guy with values, and they don't make people like Jake anymore. Thank you, Aaron. Appreciate that, buddy. Yeah, I think they broke the mold when they made me. And Victor says, yeah, with long spears covered in the blood of other seals. I like it. Like a Lord of the Rings kind of thing, but on seals.
Yes, Judy, in the U.S.
Maureen says, Judy, Black Friday should be renamed instantly Insanity Day. I don't disagree. They get crazy out there. Victor says, agreed, Aaron. And Judy says, amen, Maureen. And Aaron says, Black Friday is the purge but with toys. Yeah. It's probably where they got the idea. They probably went for the new PlayStation and had an idea for a movie. Maureen says, Aaron, too true. Extreme Rocker says, Maureen, it's a shame that their spelling is not doing well. I had the odd realization today from a group therapy that most schools are using tablets for writing instead of pencils and papers.
Yep.
Yeah. You want to know an interesting fact? The people that make software for social media, like the people that run Facebook, the people that run Microsoft and things like that, their children go to schools that only use paper. They don't have computers in their schools. I wonder why. And their kids aren't allowed on social media. I wonder why. There is a reason for that. Vic says, I do find it funny that Americans celebrate Thanksgiving and then the very next day purge all the stones and take everything they can.
The stores.
Yeah. Yeah. Thanksgiving and then thanks-taking. It's very simple.
Try to beat everybody in the process.
Maureen says, extreme rocker, sadly true. Even in poorer communities, education is failing. And that's why I'm ready to step
in when
or if my family needs it. I'm glad your family has you, Maureen. A lot of families don't.
LOL, Vic. Got to exercise all that food off.
Right on. Vic says, maybe that's why Canada decided to have it a month before to be polite. Well, you guys are extremely polite, eh? Vic says, smiley. And Judy says, LOL, Amanda. Maureen says, Victor, LOL, too true.
And now we've got Cyber Monday, too, which is the Monday after Black Friday.
Which is the same thing as Black Friday, only they do it online.
Right. And we don't have to beat each other up.
Mabel says, Victor, smiley face, or sad face, or whatever that is.
That's
Sleepy
a surprise.
face, surprise face.
Mm-hmm.
Judy says, right, Amanda? And Maureen says, absolutely. That's why I'm totally behind Trump's education reforms. Me too. Victor says, have a good night, everybody. We will see you tomorrow. And thank you, Jake and Amanda. Victor, Mabel, thank you very much for being here. We love you. We've enjoyed the conversation. Come back anytime.
Night, Vic.
God bless y'all. I'm not far behind you.
Me neither.
Judy says, good night, Vic. And Mabel says, good night, everybody. And thank you very much, Jake and Amanda. Mabel, God bless you, sweet lady. Thank you for being here.
Night, Mabel and Hannah.
Amber says, hugs and good night, y'all. Medicine routine time. Hearts and prayers and smiley faces and unicorns. Amber, God bless you and thank you for being here. We love you. And Maureen says, there is a program called Little Red Schoolhouse that can be brought into any community where the kids spend the morning learning the basic school subjects, reading, writing, math, and then spend the rest of the day learning outdoor skills like planting and animal care. Very good choice. And a good thing about homeschooling your kids is you have outside time where you can teach them skills like milking cows or doing chores and things like that, to teach them work ethics and to teach them little things about how plants work and, different skill sets that you can learn outside. That's a great addition to schooling. And also keep them energetic, because the one thing about school is it makes you very bored and very sleepy, and kids fight against that naturally, which is why they drug them up to keep them in their seats. Take the seats out of the equation. Let them sit at a table and learn, and then go outside and play and learn. I think that's way better.
Night, Amber.
Maureen says, good night, Amber. Extreme Rocker says, it's a shame that poorer communities' education is failing, though it's also on parents to get their children to do well. Many parents of the top performing students expect better from them. Agreed. That's why the Chinese are doing so well, because their parents don't put up with that shit. You make straight A's or you're dead. And Judy says, good night, Mabel. Amy says, I'm falling asleep. Good night, y'all. Amy, God bless you, sweet lady. I hope that whatever's going on works out. And always know that you're loved here. Maureen says, good night, Mabel. And good night, Amy. Judy says, good night, Amber.
Night, Amy.
Good night, John Boy.
Night, Billy.
And my chat jumped and I found it. Amy says, I'm not bored. I just didn't get very much sleep last night. Understood. I'm about to fall asleep too. Amber says, Amy, get some rest, please. Prayers and hearts. Amber says, blood sugar is 176, so thankfully it's dropping. Y'all have a wonderful night. Smiley faces, unicorns, hearts, and prayers. Good night to you too, Amber, and thank you for being here. And Maureen says, prayers, Amber. Extreme Rocker says, one of the things that gripes me with students nowadays is that parents don't want to collaborate with teachers by being parents, but want to be their kid's best friend. Well, I agree with that. But on the same token, I wouldn't want to collaborate with a blue-haired teacher with a rainbow flag in their classroom either. So there's that. But I also agree that your job is not to be your kid's friend, is to be their parent. You can be their friend when they're grown. Right now, you need to teach them right from wrong and how to stay out of trouble and how to do something with their life, which doesn't lend very well to friendliness. Judy says, good night, Amy. Extreme Rocker says, if they don't discipline their kids, they can't be surprised that they are not disciplined when in school. I agree. Maureen says, Extreme Rocker too true. They want teachers to parent and teach while they are friends with their kids, and kids have enough friends, and parents can be their friends when they reach adulthood. That's what I said, and I agree. Judy says 176 isn't that bad. I'm glad it's better. Get some sleep, Amber. And Maureen says, Extreme Rocker, sadly, parents also don't want schools to discipline. I'm not sure where they think the kids will magically get discipline. I know, right? Amy says, digital devices are now the babysitters. They get younger with devices and a condition called nomophobia is where a person has anxiety from being separated from their phones or a Wi-Fi connection. I know, I saw that firsthand. And the only way you can get that out of a child is to break it off like a bad Band-Aid and put them outside to do something. Get their mind on something else. They are going to kick and scream and freak out, but you just got to be strong, stern, and discipline that out of them. Amber says, thank y'all for the love. Hearts, prayers, and smiley faces. And love is a given here. We love you. Amy says, nomophobia. Nomophobia. That's like homophobia, but with no H. Maureen says, Amy, when you're in the grocery store, you see teens and carts on phones. It's crazy. And good night, Vic. Amy says, I wouldn't mind sitting in a cart. I'm tired. I know, right? I wouldn't mind being able to go to the grocery store. Extreme Rocker says, Maureen, it's a shame. I work at a school at a wealthy area, and most kids don't take staff seriously. Their parents are either spoiled housewives or neglectful businessmen. Yeah, that's a big problem there. Unfortunately, we're going to pay the price for that because those kids are the ones that are going to run the world, and they don't know anything from anything. It's going to be bad. Maureen says, with Little Red Schoolhouse, they have the community interaction and keep the basics. Yeah. Extreme Rocker, yeah, I see the same here, and our area fall in the middle economically, or fail in the middle economically. And Maureen says, good night, Amy Elizabeth, LOL. Extreme Rocker says, they are crazy blue-haired teachers, and though they tend to leave due to the pressure that is unruly children, LOL. Well, they created those unruly children, in my opinion. Maureen says, they tried the parent-friend thing when I was a teen in the 70s, and my mother's response was, you have enough friends, I'm a parent. And that's exactly what we need to do now. I think this all started with Dr. Spock. Never read a book from a guy who don't have children about how to raise children. And Maureen says, good night, Amanda. And Judy says, good night, Amanda.
Nighters, I'll see you tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time right here on Untethered Live for Bible study. Much love.
I see. No good night, Jake. Just Amanda. I see how it is.
I'm the special one, not you.
I see.
They love me.
Well, I love you too. Good night, everybody.
Good night, y'all.
Thank you for a great night of Politi-tics where we learn, we develop, and we incur. See you tomorrow night for Bible study where we can get a good brain in on some Bible. I love you all. What it is, good night. Amy, good night. Extreme Rocker, good night. Judy, good night. Maureen, good night. Everybody else in chat, good night. I love you true. I do. When you go out into the world tomorrow, be nice to somebody. I promise you it will change your life. Have a great night, and thanks for watching. Amanda.
Good night, y'all.